Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you this morning. And boy, oh boy, were we busy. We were busy little beavers yesterday.
Busy little bees. Buzz.
We had things to do, people to see, a Zoom conference call to attend. Now, it's well documented here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch that we are personas non grata over at Petco Park. We were not given credentials this season for reasons we don't understand. We were told that there's a weight limit to the press box. And so we're hoping with our friends over at SD Fat Loss that maybe they won't fat shame us.
That's right.
And maybe we'll be welcome back in the 2024 season to Padres games from the press level. In the interim, we did get invited via Zoom to AJ Preller's press conference, year-end presser. It occurred on a Wednesday. A lot of these occur sooner than that, but they had some things to work out. And okay, let's stop and pause there for a second. So it's been a full, 86 hours since the official end of the regular season before anybody in any position of power in the organization talks to the public or talks to anybody, period.
Did you do the math on that? That seems exactly right.
I know I didn't do the math. I was kind of guessing. It wasn't quite 96, but the point is,
I got you.
It was a long time.
Sorry. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Long time. Been a minute.
Yeah.
And what that suggests to me is that there were a lot, and I mean a lot, of internal conversations about what should happen next. Bob Melvin's job obviously was a topic of debate amongst fans and amongst media types like us. AJ Preller's employment with the Padres certainly was an interesting subject of conversation. Peter Seidler's health and roster decisions that could be coming either sooner or later, most likely later after the postseason ends. Okay, so a lot has been discussed, but we haven't heard anything from the Padres until yesterday afternoon. So we all jumped on this call. It was really not afternoon, late morning, 11:45. And AJ Preller opened with a short statement. And then Kevin Acee was the first up to ask him a question. And his question was about Bob Melvin. And Ben, do we have the sound of AJ Preller answering this first question?
Not that one, but Bob Melvin's the manager. That's what Preller said.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said that he will be our guy moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it.
That's it. So that's anybody out there who thought Bob Melvin was the problem, thought that it was possible that Bob Melvin would be leaving the team. It sounds like, at least for now, because look, we know that things change, but at least for now, Bob Melvin is going to be the Padres manager in 2024. So before we get to any of the sound we do have, let's discuss that for a second. Any problems in this room with Bob Melvin coming back?
Hell no.
No.
Okay.
No.
Mel's the man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, it's odd because on one hand, you have a feeling, or at least I have a feeling as a fan of like, so nothing's changing. And then on the other hand, I have a feeling of almost relief of like, okay, good. At least our guy's coming back.
My whole opinion on it was, if they were going to make a change, that wasn't the change that needed to be made. So if it's what gives you the best chance to win next year, and I heard Darren talking about this for a while yesterday, like if you're not going to totally kick everything to the curb, and even though I think moving on from AJ, or at least moving him to only president, wouldn't be doing that. But if you're not going to do anything, then don't do anything and leave this the same, because that gives you the best chance to win next year.
You know what? Here's the funny thing about me. I don't think they need to change very much. Now, I do think that they need help. I don't know where that help is going to come from if you do keep all the pieces in place. But one of the things that Peter Seidler can do to help push this situation in a more positive direction is sit down and talk to the quote unquote leaders of this clubhouse and say, I need more out of you. Yeah. I mean, you need to get in Machado's ear. You need to get in Fernando's ear. You need to talk to Bogarts. You need to talk to Juan Soto if he's going to be a part of this team next season. And you need as an owner to take control of this situation and say, hey, regardless of what you may think about Bob Melvin, regardless of what you may think about AJ Preller, or what you may think about me, you are the San Diego Padres. This is who we are. You are the tip of the spear. When people think about the Padres, they're not buying Seidler and Preller and Melvin jerseys. Yeah. They're buying Machado and Tatis and Soto and Bogarts jerseys. That's how this thing works. You need to be this team, the thumping heart of this team, of our winning ways, has to start with this core four if, again, they're going to remain intact. And if that is the case, they need a lot more out of those guys, especially when you're on the road during the dog days of the season and it's against a bad Mariners team and it doesn't feel like it's all that important because you're struggling this season anyway. That is not the time to say, hey, guess what, boys, let's pack it up. Let's start bringing our golf clubs on all these trips so we could hit the course. No, we're not quitting. We're not quitting in 2024. So whatever you got to do internally to turn this situation around, figure it out this offseason, get together during the offseason, or don't. I don't care, but it cannot look like the way it did this past year.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly said, perfectly stated. The players who are, I mean, how many times was it said here? How many times did you bring up, Rich? You have to start playing. These players have to start playing like their stats read on the back of their baseball cards. I mean, that was a mantra almost here in the first couple months of the season. And here we go again. We're going to start fresh. We're going to start brand new. Maybe you figured something out towards the end of the season. Maybe something clicked. Maybe the feeling of desperation and, well, did we just hit the bottom of the barrel, made him go, all right, let's dig out, man. Let's dig out as a team. We got to figure it out. So maybe something gelled, and we'll see that at the start of next season. But you're right. They need to play like the stats show on the back of those baseball cards every single night.
You guys are both 100% right. And one thing that was kind of disappointing about the Zoom yesterday was nobody talked about Manny Machado. I thought that was just curious because obviously that was a huge storyline of the season, both his production and his leadership and recent articles that have come out. AJ was asked about all of the articles, but not that. So that's just curious to me. And then the other one, Dennis Lynn brought it up about AJ potentially stepping down as GM and moving up to only president and hiring a GM under him. And I don't know if that solves anything, but I think it's a great talking point to move forward with. Because what does that change? Now, is AJ becoming president and has a talking head as a GM? Someone who's just better at public speaking, someone who's better at being the front-facing portion of the GM job, and then AJ still handles all the behind-the-scene things? Or is he still just a puppet handler in that situation? And remember, a couple years ago, there was actually
yes,
yeah, it is.
That's the answer to that question.
A couple years ago, there were talks of promoting someone from within to GM while AJ is just the president, and those talks have gone away. But I wonder if they make a comeback this offseason.
Yeah, they could. I don't think it would change anything. He would hire a lieutenant or somebody he could trust or somebody he could control.
How about just somebody who can talk?
Yeah, well,
God, AJ sucks at that.
Okay.
Well, he did fine talking. He just didn't say anything.
Well,
I mean, well,
at the same time, though, let's face it. What were we expecting?
Correct. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I also felt like when Kevin Acee got to ask that same question, I almost felt like it was like we had a bad breakup. And now I was watching this person on social media. I heard his voice. My heart kind of broke a little bit because it's not going to be on our show next week.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we could still call him.
Yeah, we could just.
Okay, good. Just random calls.
I think we should cold call Kevin at random days during the week, or just every Wednesday at 8:30. Just randomly call his phone. Hey, just leave voicemails for him on our show. Just be like, hey, Kevin, it's week 6 of the NFL season. We just want to get your thoughts on this line on Bears Packers.
Wait, hang on. Play the open.
Yeah, Quidel Ortho. Whoop.
So the two sound bites that I thought were worthy of playing, AJ Preller might not even be in any of them. It's Bernie Wilson's questions. Bernie Wilson, round of applause from Big Rich, TDM Fletch.
Yeah, he works with anybody who doesn't know. Bernie Wilson works with the Associated Press. He's at every single Padres home game, and he pulls no punches. And I mean, in his coverage of the Padres, but also holding the people and places of power to task. Here's Bernie.
Yeah, AJ, have you gotten any mandates from ownership about not meddling in Bob's job if that was indeed an issue?
I mean, I haven't. I mean, I think, again, I can only talk to, I think from my standpoint, it's, there are conversations. It's, I think the process for myself, it's, about, throwing topics on the table, hiring talented people.
Yeah, that'll be about enough. AJ Preller went on to fumble his way to say absolutely nothing about
2.5 minutes.
His meddling or any mandate given to him. I will say this. He did say, I haven't. So it means that if he's being 100% truthful, which, by the way, that's the other thing about all this. The only messages that he wanted to get across was there will be no changes with the front office as of today. There will be no changes with the manager as of today. And so he got all of those points expressed. The rest of this, he was just fluffing his way through the interview, just saying it was a word salad. That, like you said, went on for another 2 minutes. He said absolutely zero in terms of answering the question that Bernie posed. Here's another great question from Bernie Wilson. Again, these were things of interest, especially winding down the season. Things that fans and, again, sports talk radio show hosts and people who are interested in the Padres want to know the answer to. Here's Bernie.
A follow-up, how did it get to the point that in one of these anonymous reports, your relationship with Bob was described as a quote-unquote civil war?
Yeah, I think that's, again, like, I think the anonymous quotes and the unnamed sources, I just don't give any, we don't give any credibility to that. And I think at the end of the year, I didn't say much. And honestly, it's just because we were still in contention. I think with our players and our staff, the focus was how do we, we knew it was a long shot, but it was like, yeah, let's keep grinding down the stretch, and let's try to get in the postseason, and then we'll talk about it when we get to this point in the off season. And I think from my standpoint, a lot's been overblown.
You could cut it off there because he goes on for another 2 minutes after that and says a whole lot of nothing.
Right, but I mean, the first sentence he kind of answered it.
He's trying to discredit Dennis and Kevin.
Yeah, but I mean, he answered it sort of, just by saying, yeah, we didn't give that any credit. He's saying that it's fake news.
Well, let me ask you guys, Rich, Travis, a question. Kevin AC, Dennis Lynn, or AJ Preller, who do you trust more?
Oh, come on. Well, our guy AC.
Oh, yeah. Look, I think that Dennis and AC reported facts that they acquired from sources who told them their version of events. Look, this is the same thing a little bit after witnessing a car accident. There are going to be people who are involved in the accident. There are going to be people who are driving by the accident who witnessed the accident. There are going to be people who are bystanders, pedestrians who saw the car accident or were getting their hair done in a storefront and looked out the window and saw the car accident. Every different vantage point has a different opinion about the events that took place. They're going to be different stories, like, oh, well, he was making a left turn and he wasn't supposed to. Well, she hit the gas. I don't know what she was thinking. Mm-hmm. Well, he was in the wrong because that intersection, you have to wait at the crosswalk before entering the intersection, even if there's a green light. Like, everybody's going to have their different thoughts on who's responsible, what happened. Like, you can't even agree in certain cases in an accident unless there's video evidence on what happened. So you're talking to sources who have their own opinions on events, who have been privy to information that some other sources haven't, and you're putting together a puzzle without actually having the hard evidence. And so Kevin AC and Dennis Lynn, I admire their work. I shouldn't say that. I don't envy these people. I would never want to be in the position where I am the gatekeeper to information that could potentially blow up a team, that could potentially blow up relationships, that could potentially harm people's career or reputation.
And Kevin told us on air a couple of weeks ago that he didn't like writing the article about Manny. He didn't like writing the article about the front office. He said, I chose my words extremely carefully when I included Civil War in the article, because he's like, I didn't have to, but that was the sentiment I got from a lot of different people.
He also said, well, at least with that article with Manny, that no one was not told about that article, what was in it, and it was coming out. So no one came out and refuted it. So,
well, they did.
I mean, they
did. I mean, and obviously AJ Preller just did there. I mean, but here's the thing: the article about Manny should have surprised nobody because Kevin AC, the beat reporter for the team, sat down with him for 30 minutes. So if you're going to sit down with him for 30 minutes and then also maybe get in touch with the PR people and say, hey, listen, this is the tone of the article. It's coming out tomorrow morning. I've spent a lot of time with this.
This is what Manny said.
I
still don't get why people were mad at Kevin for that article.
And also, by the way, he owes nobody an explanation. Again, this is what he's heard from people either close to the team, inside the clubhouse, or outside the clubhouse that used to be a part of the team, and from Manny himself. Okay. And you can ascertain whatever you want from this. You could say Kevin Acey's a liar. That's one opinion. You could say, you know what, the AJ Preller and Bob Melvin and all the people involved with the Padres, they're a bunch of liars. They're not telling us the truth about how bad it's gotten. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Or you could kind of take it at face value like I do. I think many people do. And you could say there's probably some truth to some of this. There's probably some over exaggeration because people do over exaggerate, especially when they're trying to impress somebody.
Mhm.
And I know I've seen it, by the way, when guys on my team are talking to a writer, sometimes they'll make something sound better or more interesting than it actually is, or actually played out. And I think in this case, there could have been some of that too. But if you cut it right down the middle and you say, okay, what were the problems with the Padres in 2023? There was obviously discord in the front office. There was obviously poor communication between the front office and the field level. And there was a culture issue in the clubhouse. Regardless of how much all these people, quote unquote, like each other and how good of a working environment it was described as, I do think that there was animus. I do think that there was hard feelings at times. And I think that's the reason why, in part, the season resulted in what we saw this season.
Well, around Major League Baseball, there were games that were played just without the Padres. The Phillies beat up the Marlins 7-1. The Twins beat the Blue Jays 2-0. Rangers take down the Rays 7-1, and the Diamondbacks come back from behind. They win 5-2.
4 sweeps.
Yeah, 4 sweeps. Unbelievable. Monday Night Football. God, I do that every week. Thursday Night Football. Thank God. Thursday Night Football.
Thank God it's Thursday.
Thank God it's Thursday. You know, it's just the game is such a big game. My head is spinning. Yeah, but the Bears at
Everybody's
Commanders.
talking about this game. We got Justin Fields, so I think it's a pretty good quarterback. Some people say the best. I say the best. He's the best.
Definitely. So that is tonight. We're going to get into that on the other side of this.
And we got to clean the swamp. We got to get rid of those DC Commandos, whatever they call themselves, bad folks. You know, Sam Howell cheats on his wife. Is he married? He's unmarried. He cheats on his wife.
God, it's so perfect. It's perfect.
Call
it
him
warms my heart.
Slimy Sam. Slimy Sam.
Do we need a Biden impersonator to come debate you about NFL?
That would be great.
Oh, Lord,
That
have
would be
mercy.
great.
I wish I could do a Biden. I don't think. Don, what are you doing, man?
Who do you think had
Did you
had
just
this quote?
snore?
Who do you think had this quote right here? F those country club kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
F those country club
Donald
kids.
Trump.
No, it sounds like it could be Brooks Koepka. Apparently, he
Wow.
blasted PGA players for them knocking his move to live golf. So he just look. I'm sorry. It's quotes like that where I'm like, I mean, I like this guy.
I love Brooks
yeah.
Koepka.
I mean, I hate to call him out, but I'm sure that Brooks Koepka practiced or played or got entrance to country clubs growing up.
Oh, come
100
on.
million
Listen,
1,000,000%.
This is like it's like I hate anybody who wears golf polos. Meanwhile, he's wearing one. Like, you know, it's just
He's
like
a-
As he's
he's-
putting one on.
He's
Yeah.
bashing them because like they're sticking with the PGA Tour is like, oh, I'm not going to take the money because of the respect of the culture, blah blah blah. Yet he went and took the money. He's like, you're really going to bash me for taking $300 million or
Right.
whatever it was that he got.
Well, I'm sure you did. Your phones went off yesterday. And,
Oh, yeah.
whew, and that was loud.
Scared
My
the crap out of my dog.
phone and my watch were going off. I mean, you could hear it all around the building here.
I guess if you had that around a hot mic, it was a big problem.
Well,
Big
because
problem.
what happens is the tones that are being sent out get picked up, and then that will trigger the emergency alert system on other
Oh.
things.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why all the phones had to be out of the studios, or mics needed to be completely off.
Oh yeah. Well, mine went off.
Dude, it's a good thing it wasn't during our show. We would not have remembered.
No.
There's no chance. And by
Yeah.
the way, also like it's crazy how tethered I am to my cell phone these days. Like I can't do anything without it anymore. There are times during this show where, you know, we write down our topics, things that we may or may not get to throughout the day. There are times where I forget everything except for my phone. You guys have seen it. I walk in here, I'm like, I have nothing. I just showed up with clothes, thankfully.
Do you ever purposefully forget your phone when you go do something?
I never on purpose, but when I do leave my phone somewhere, I'm usually happy and more invested in whatever I'm doing than I would be if I had it.
I quote unquote accidentally left my phone and went to the beach a couple weeks ago.
Mm.
Nice.
Best day ever.
Yeah.
By myself, just taking a stroll along Coronado.
And I'll
Just
tell you
living
what,
in the moment.
do that now while you can, because as soon as you have kids, as soon as you have children, those days are over.
Mhm.
You will be held so accountable for leaving your phone anywhere. It'd be like, what happens if there was an emergency at school and I was trying to get in touch with you? What happens if one of the kids was choking on something and we need to go to the emergency room? Like, them days is gone as soon as you make a human.
So you know what's crazy? I mean, I'm 44. It's not like I'm that old. When I first got married, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weird.
Well, how
Yeah.
about this? When I first went to college, I got sent to school with a cell phone that it was my mom's. I think it was the only cell phone we had in the house. I immediately lost it. And so I was back to using quarters to call home. And this is, I mean, it's not like we're talking about 1973. Like, this was 2004. You know what I mean? Like, it was very weird though. Like, it was that by the way, the Facebook started when I was in college.
Yeah.
And guess what it was used for? Hooking up with chicks. And the guys who figured out the first, they're all like, yeah, just, new gal every night. And everybody was like, how is he doing it? And then, whispers would be like, there's a thing called the Facebook, and I think he's using it.
Did you have a MySpace page?
I didn't. I actually did, but mine sucked, and I never used MySpace.
I loved it, man.
I was a huge AOL Instant Messenger guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm young enough to where MySpace was irrelevant by the time I started using social media.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
MySpace was cool, man.
When did you go to college? What was
customize everything?
Last year of high school, first year of college?
I graduated high school in 2014, graduated college in 2018.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, yeah. So your first year of college was my last year in the NFL. So that's the reason why that is a solid generation right there between the two of us. That
We're
makes
both millennials.
A lot of sense. Yeah, I know, but
you're the old millennial. I'm the young millennial.
It doesn't feel like we're both in the same category, but we definitely are. We definitely are.
What am
Gen X?
Is that what's before millennial?
I have no idea.
I think I'm right on the cusp, actually. 79.
It's like that Steve Buscemi meme where
Hello,
he's wearing
fellow
a
youths.
backwards hat holding the skateboard. Hello, fellow youngsters like myself.
That's me. That's
I
fine.
also Pac-Man and Slinky.
Mine is Commander's favored by 6 tonight. You guys like that line? I hate it.
Commander's
Favored by 6?
Yeah, like I have no idea what to do.
I'd probably take it.
I mean, look, the Bears stink pretty bad. But
the Bears stink pretty bad, but also sometimes they're pretty good.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like a quarter.
No, I mean, sometimes they're pretty good enough to make it a game, but still lose.
Yeah, they are 0-4.
Right.
Commanders are red hot 2-2.
They're coming off of, here's my thing. With a team that looks as discombobulated as the Bears do, and then you're going to send them on the road, short week to prepare, and against a team that's warming up. I mean, they almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
So
I still hate the line.
I know. I think I would lay the points though. I think I would.
You would take the Commanders?
Yeah, -6. Yeah, I think I would lay the points on this one.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I
was asked about this yesterday, and someone was like asking me for advice to put down money, and I was like, "Don't ask me. I don't want to tell you. I have no idea."
What I want you guys to ask me is about bye weeks in the NFL. Some of the things
strip clubs,
some of the things that may or may not happen when you got a little time on your hands during a week during the NFL. We'll get to that on the other side.
What happens? Well, what do the players do on an NFL bye week? We ask a former player, Rich Ornberger, next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. We will begin this morning with baseball. AJ Preller spoke to the media yesterday via Zoom press conference when asked about manager Bob Melvin and his status with the team. Preller said that Melvin is the Padres manager. Elsewhere in baseball, postseason going on right now. All 4 wild card series were sweeps. The Rangers, Twins, D-backs, and Phillies all advanced to the next round, which will begin on Saturday. In the NFL, Week 5 gets going tonight. Bears traveling to D.C. to take on the Commanders. Commandos currently favored by 6 points at home. And it's the first week in the NFL with bye weeks as Chargers, Seahawks, Browns, and Bucks all have the week off. Check those fantasy lineups and keep listening because Big Rich giving us the bye week breakdown coming up next. What makes a Mercedes-Benz EV different? Electric is what gets you there, but Mercedes is what moves you like no other automaker can. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
Is this the Talking Heads?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you
who
chose
this is.
it.
I don't know what song this is. Okay, so in the break, Ben says, "Hey, pick a band. Well, whatever band you want. That's what will be the theme today." And I said, "Talking Heads." What Talking Heads song is this?
Take Me to the River.
I've never
Well,
heard
I've
this
never
song
heard
before.
this in my life.
Or no, this is Road to Nowhere.
Is this by the Talking Heads?
Yes.
Oh, this sounds more like Talking
Oh
Heads.
yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I do not know what that intro was, but I loved it. I loved it. Hey, we do have a pair of tickets to go see Avenged Sevenfold, not the Talking Heads. They're playing this Saturday night, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Keep listening for your chance to win those. And coming up on the show, we also have a pair of tickets to go see 4 World Championship fights, headline Bellator's MMA's historic 300th card. That is also this Saturday, October 7th at Pechanga Arena out in San Diego. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win.
And guys, after the show today, we get to chat with someone who's going to be a part of the shindig this weekend out at Pechanga Arena, San Diego. I'm pumped for that.
Yeah,
and then
that's cool.
tomorrow we'll air some of that interview.
Yeah. Gonna be looking forward to that. Following the show today, we'll play for that for you tomorrow. All right. any questions about bye weeks that you guys may have, or even our listeners may have throughout the show,
Drugs, alcohol, strippers.
70470, start your message with team if you have a question. But yeah,
So yes,
fire away. You is that a question? You just name things that sound actually great right now.
is that what happens during an NFL bye week?
Drugs, alcohol, weapons, strippers?
I didn't say weapons. What the hell did you do?
Wait.
I mean, we had a whole week.
Wait, did you say fireworks? Oh, I don't know
Are we
why.
just adding things that we like. Did you say video game consoles?
But I seriously am. Like,
Did you buy any fireworks in the bye week?
because you look at your fantasy lineup and you're like, oh, I have 4 guys out this week because it's the first bye week of the NFL season, and it gets me thinking, like, I wonder what they're doing. Like, are they being respectful to my fantasy team? Are they staying healthy, or are they going out and doing some stuff that'll get you arrested?
Yes and yes. It depends on who you're talking about. There are guys who, okay, so I'll just give you what I used to do in my bye weeks. Part of it would be rest and recovery, and then the other part of it would be either be spending time with family or going out and doing the things that you really don't have as much time to do, like going out with your buddies, because you become friends with guys in whatever locker room you're playing with. Most of the time for the offensive line, you roll with those guys. There are occasions where tight ends want to hang out with you. Quarterbacks certainly want to hang out with their offensive linemen, stuff like that. And usually, like in a place like San Diego, there's 2 different groups. Like there was definitely like the PB beach crowd, and there was definitely like the gas lamp downtown crowd. And I very much was a part of the PB beach crowd. Like we would go to Lahaina's, we would absolutely tear it up. By the way, if you've never been, Lahaina's it's just a cool little beach dive bar where you can walk right onto the sand outside the back patio. It's right on the boardwalk there. Or like whatever the other ones are, PBL House, the Firehouse.
Were you guys like kings? Were people buying you drinks?
Sometimes, but a lot of times people were intimidated because when you went out as an offensive line group, you are the largest human beings on the team. You're the largest human beings in. A lot of times we got asked if we were professional wrestlers. Like they would, because a lot of guys have long hair, so they would look up and be like, "Hey, are you guys like with WWE Raw?" Stuff like that.
Did anyone ever say yes?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes.
Not the San Diego Chargers, the football team that plays 10 miles away.
And a lot of people, I was shocked in San Diego more so than any other place I lived. I was shocked how many people recognized us, like as individuals. They'd be like, "Oh, Rich," or "Hey, what's up, Chad?" Or
good sports fans
Nick.
here.
Yeah, great sports fans. The only place I ever lived where people could pick an offensive lineman out by face and have a conversation with you, it was bonkers. It was like no other place I played. I remember one time on a bye week, we went to Barley Mash in the Gas Lamp.
Great spot.
A huge crew of us. We brought the wives. We go down there and we're all buying, we're all on the same tab. You know what I mean? And it's drink after drink after drink. And it's mostly beer. Like it was a big beer drinking crew.
Now, is this a football game you guys are watching, or is it the like WWE fights?
No, it was Monday Night Football. The Dolphins were playing. That's all I remember. I think we were playing the Dolphins the week after. And so we're watching the game and we're drinking. The game ends. We probably linger for an hour and then we're settling up. So it wasn't too late. Maybe it was 8 or 9 o'clock, but we had been drinking all day long. We get the bill and my buddy, Chad Reinhardt, his wife, Justine, she goes, "All right, who was drinking the peanut butter milk stouts?" And I was like, "Oh, that was me." It was the Belching Beaver peanut butter stouts. It was the first time I had ever tasted them.
Heavy beer.
Sounds good right now.
She's like, I was like, "Oh, I did." She goes, "Did you have 22 of them?" I was like, "Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't counting." I'm like, "Let me see this." So I looked and she was one. So not only did I drank 16 of them while they were on special for 20 ounces for a different price. And then I had an additional 6 of them.
Wow.
The pint size. But
That's impressive.
Now we were sitting there for like 5 or 6 hours, but it was one of those things where I realized like, oh yeah, like nothing has any effect on me. At 315 pounds or whatever I weighed back then, like I could just pour anything down the gullet.
Yeah.
And I would just cruise off of a little bit of a buzz.
But not even talking about buzz. I mean, that's a lot of food.
It's a good
I
point.
mean, that's heavy.
I peed a lot.
Yeah.
I peed a lot. I will say that. There was no question about it.
Totally hydrated.
And every time, by the way, my glass emptied. The waitress who was waiting on our table was incredible because there would either be one sitting next to the empty glass, and I was the only one drinking a dark beer, so I knew it was for me, or she would switch out the cups when I wasn't looking. It happened constantly.
Wow.
And I think I said something to her like, hey, just whenever this is even low, just get me another one because I don't even like just keep them coming until I say stop.
It's the bye week.
On the bye week, though, I mean, is there any work? Is it all time off?
Okay, yeah, actually, bye weeks suck from a standpoint of work standpoint. When you don't have to prepare for a game, the coaches can beat the crap out of you. So a lot of times it feels like you're back in training camp for a week. You know, you're doing drills that you kind of hung up on their shelves from training camp. You know, a lot of like a heavy emphasis on, you know, tackling and hitting each other and doing some of the things that you can't work on because you got to stay healthy for the upcoming week. But if somebody, you know, I don't know, breaks a finger or, you know, if somebody bruises a knee or something like that, you have 2 weeks to heal up before your next game. Bye weeks absolutely suck from a work standpoint, but it's kind of cool that you get some time off.
The teams that are going through right now are the Chargers, Seahawks, Browns, and Bucks. So if you have anybody on your fantasy lineups, make sure you check them and get them out of there. I think this is great for the Chargers because you get to get Austin Eckler healthy. That's the biggest thing. Their run game has been lacking since he's been out. So other than that, I mean, the rest of the teams just rest up. Mike Evans dealing with an injury, so it's a nice time for the Bucks.
Yeah. What were the other teams? Chargers, Bucks,
Browns, and Seahawks.
Well, the Browns have Myles Garrett out right now.
Seahawks, Geno Smith banged up his knee.
Yep. He needs to get better. And by the way, that knee for Geno, at least from what Doc Chow said, Pro Football Doc will join us every Tuesday during the football season. He said like that there's a little more to that. Like there could be PCL damage from his video evidence that he looked at. So we'll see where Geno Smith is. Myles Garrett's pretty confident that he's coming back from whatever it is, a foot, an ankle, a toe. He said he's pretty confident on the other side of the bye week he'll be ready to play.
I feel like I don't remember bye weeks being this early, but then again, I remember them used to be in week 4.
Yeah. They start this early, and what sucks is, especially during a 17-game season, like then you have 12 or 10 games straight, and then, you know, you're right into the postseason if you're a good enough team.
Would you rather have early bye week or late bye week?
Later.
100%.
You would like it in the middle of the season, so you have like a halfway point, but definitely later rather than earlier.
So this goes all the way to like, I think week 13, maybe week 14, where there's bye weeks. And
I would say like Halloween on is probably what, like somewhere in the month of November is where you want the bye week, preferably during Thanksgiving, you know, just from a family standpoint.
So you can eat.
Yeah. Well, not even just so you can eat, so you can like go and do stuff. A lot of coaches will like, give you time off, especially when it's a holiday during a bye week. I mean, all bets are off. You'll probably be finishing up working either Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and then get back in there over the weekend at some point.
But no fireworks at all?
Okay, so I will tell you another quick story. One time I had a bye week up against a road trip. So it was one of those destinations guys wanted to stay, and we got the see you next week kind of thing from the coach. And so a lot of guys stayed in the city. No, that was a different trip. We got to see you Wednesday on a Miami trip when I was in New England, and like the half of the plane deboarded and got off on the tarmac and called cabs or Ubers and just left. I was like, where are those guys going? It was like my rookie year. I was like, I'm going to stay right here on the plane. Look, a good Patriot. That's the Patriot way.
See me, Bill? See, Bill, look, I'm here.
See, Bill? I think Bill was out there partying on South Beach, like Nikki Beach with
He
Les
loves
Welker.
Miami. We actually know that for a fact.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was too much of a nerd. I was so nervous.
Good.
Probably wearing a polo, just like Brooks Koepka. F those country club guys. Anyways, yeah.
That's right.
Hey, on the bye weeks, one of the things that we used to do is we would just eat and eat and eat and eat. And back then, that was a good thing, right? You know, because it's, you know, putting on pounds as an offensive lineman, it's kind of an occupational hazard. But on the other side of my career, it didn't do me any favors. You could say I got a little portly in the off seasons and certainly in my retirement. And it's something that I wanted to get a hold of as quickly as possible. And so the great people at SD Fat Loss are the way that I've had the most success. Now, this is recent. We've only been doing this as a show for about a month now, but sdfatloss.com is where you can find Dr. Wayne and Chloe And let me just talk to you about what it's done for me. Look, I know I project myself as a very confident person, but when you're not fitting in clothes that you're supposed to be able to put on, that sucks. And I was going through that, bought a bunch of skinny guy clothes because I lost weight 2 years ago. I gained it all back. All of those clothes have been hanging in the closet this whole time. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And when you're thinking about like, I would die for my kids, I would do anything for my family, like you're being such a selfless person, but you know what? Would you get healthy for your kids? Like that was a serious conversation I was having for myself with myself. And I was really struggling with doing that side of it. Like, so I needed guidance. I needed people to corral me, the mentality of eating and teach me maybe a better way. And Dr. Wayne and Chloe have been invaluable resources for me. And I know you guys feel the same way about it. Fletch is down over 25 pounds. Travis is down over 20. I'm down over 30 pounds now. We've been doing this for less than a month.
I'm catching up, bro.
Yeah. You're getting there.
28 pounds as of this morning.
You're closing in on me. And it is a competition because everything's on the line. I get the Tacoma if Ben loses. He gets
I get the Forerunner.
He gets my PS4. I told him that's a fair exchange. Anyways,
he gets a left-handed 7-iron from me. Yeah.
This is honestly the best way to do it. Find a group, whether it's you and your wife, whether it's a buddy who also needs to lose weight. You guys go out golfing. It's a conversation you should have. It's helped us a lot. sdfatloss.com. sdfatloss.com. Okay. Coming up next, what do we got, Benny? I didn't even
Travis
look.
Kelce is asking us to be done. Can we please be done?
Oh.
We have the answer coming up next.
Should we already have the breakup song? Should this already be over? We'll get to that next. So if you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, we appreciate you. Keep on keeping on, and maybe share the link with a friend if you love the show. That's a great way to support it. I know I listen to our show on the podcast, which is posted an hour after our show ends. Sometimes just to, listen back and hear my voice, just do things while I'm listening to
Dude, I
my
don't
voice.
think I know a single Talking Head song.
How do you not know this song?
Even the song that the intro started that I didn't know. I knew it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know this song?
It's a solid song.
God.
It's a good song.
When were they popular?
Actually,
prior to your birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even before your birth, probably.
Well, no, they were
they an 80s band?
Yeah, they were 80s band. Yeah. I'm an 80s music guy. I do like 80s music. And then 90s rock.
Look
Yeah.
at you,
Yeah.
you man. You know how to fix cars.
What?
You know how to carve pumpkins.
And
you like
And I'm a
80s
big
and
Phil
rock.
Collins fan.
Well, I don't
a
know.
man's man.
I don't know if 80s music it would be described that way. 70s
like-
people, like
But
classic rock.
Classic rock.
I
yeah.
feel like I'm better at 70s music than I would be at 80s or 90s.
Really?
Chicago, Boston, bring it on.
Well, so 70s rock, I'm in.
You named
If you
two,
get outside of 70s rock, I don't know it really.
By the way, you named two bands that nobody would think were very cool in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly right.
Chicago and Boston.
I wasn't alive.
I mean, you could like 70s classic rock. You could go
Led
Black
Zeppelin?
Sabbath,
I like Led
AC/DC,
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin. There you go.
Blue
There you go.
Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Who sings I'm a simple
Would be
kind
Leonard
of
Skinner.
Yeah,
man.
Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
great song.
Leonard Skinner.
Florida guys.
Are you a simple kind of man?
No,
What?
I'm so complex.
It's about puddle deep. Same could be said probably about this relationship between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It's feeling more and more like the fix is in a little bit.
We got invited on a pop station to talk about this.
Yeah, we did that this morning. Actually, that really pissed off.
It's better to be pissed off.
Whole different type of
Yeah.
show. But Kogo News, LaDonna Harvey, she was like, "Are you cheating on me?" I was just like,
we were.
I was like, we went over to channel 933 and they were asking us T Swift questions and we're asking them NFL questions.
That's
It's
right.
like, you guys never asked me about T Swift.
We went 3 for 3 on Taylor Swift questions, by the way.
It's because it's all I ever hear about now.
So listen
all
to
I ever
this.
want to know about.
Asked about his attention, the attention placed on he and Swift, Travis Kelce said, I think it's fun when they show who was at the game. I think it brings a bit more of that atmosphere, brings a little bit more of, attention to what you're watching. But at the same time, I think, and then his brother Jason on their podcast, New Heights, jumped in. They're overdoing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Travis actually agreed. He said, yeah, they're overdoing it a little bit for sure, especially my situation. But I think they're just trying to have fun with it. I think it's twofold. I do think that there are people who are really into this storyline. The NFL is leaning into it, and it's making more and more people sick of it. But at the same time, you talk to Gina the Latina, you talk to women, Delana, around this building who are on pop stations playing top 40 music or otherwise. And you ask them if they watched any football this weekend, where before they would say, I didn't even know it was football season.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like, oh, yeah, I watched the Taylor Swift game.
Football fans are saying, yeah, it's too much. I would say for the most part. Outside of football, no one is saying it's too much. Travis Kelce saying, yeah, they're overdoing it is full of BS. He does not care. He's, he's got the hand up, stop, stop, stop. Meanwhile, the other hand is, bring it on, baby. The more, the better. Travis Kelce loves this.
He also loves to win, though. And
if
if this starts impacting the Chiefs in any way,
this is not impacting.
Which by the way, the Kansas City sports talk scene. If something starts to go wrong, like what's our guy Soren Petro going to say?
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Now I could see that the fans
this
turning
is the
on it
biggest
saying,
distraction.
yes.
Blah blah blah. Focus on football. We got to play football.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it flipping that way. I could also see this. I could see Travis Kelce, like Travis was saying, putting up the stop sign. Meanwhile, cha-ching, cha-ching,
yep, yeah,
cha-ching.
I would like another 400% of jersey sales.
And then also followers. I mean, the more followers he has, the more he can charge for ad rate on his social media.
On their YouTube, which is up to almost 1 million.
And guess what? Guess what? The more this does for Travis Kelce, when he's done with his football career, he'll be on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
He'll be a co-host.
You're not
he's a national superstar.
He did really well on SNL.
Yeah, he was great.
That.
Coming up next, one player frustrated, one radio show host fires back. Who was right? Who was wrong? We'll show you the tail of the tape coming up next.
We're number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Mercedes-Benz. Starting off with baseball, Preller spoke to the media yesterday via Zoom presser when asked about manager Bob Melvin and his status with the team. Preller said that Bob Melvin is the manager of the Padres. Elsewhere in baseball, postseason going on, 4 wild card series. They were all sweeps: Rangers, Twins, D-backs, and Phillies, all advancing to the next round, which will begin on Saturday. In the NFL, Week 5 gets going tonight. Bears traveling to D.C. to take on the Commanders. Commanders favored by 6 right now. And it's the first week in the NFL with bye weeks. Chargers, Seahawks, Browns, Bucks all have the week off. The superbly versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy and surprisingly roomy with available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all-electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And we had a busy day yesterday. A little bit of AJ Preller press conference update. We'll pass those along to you here this hour. Also, coming up later in the show, we have Daniel Popper, covers the Chargers for The Athletic. They're on their bye week this week, as they sit at 2-2, and they've had to earn every bit of that 2-2 record. They
Should be 0-4.
Try to give away the 2 wins that they had. There's no question about it.
Speaking of the Commanders in Washington, we're going to be talking with Vita and Virginia Ali from Ben's Chili Bowl in Washington, D.C., which I'm very excited about, because apparently out in Washington, D.C., they eat something called half smokes.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even aware of this until you told me about it.
Me either.
No, is that a cigarette that you take down about halfway and then you eat it?
I don't know. Maybe it's a cigarette you find that's halfway smoked and then you smoke it. I don't know.
Clever.
I believe it's some sort of sausage.
Yeah, half smoke makes sense if you're smoking sausage. We're gonna ask them.
Yeah, we're
By
gonna
the way,
figure it out.
we are now torturing ourselves like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but this is kind of fun.
Yeah,
I kind of like it.
yeah. Every Thursday Night Football, we're trying to find like the favorite food of that destination,
Which
and then trying to get somebody on to tell us about it.
which this is just kind of we just kind of started doing this. There wasn't really any thought of we should.
No,
Yeah.
no. It started with Joe's in Kansas City. They do some KC BBQ there, and then it went on to the Anchor Bar in Buffalo. They do chicken wings there.
They do.
And now we're gonna head out to DC, where they apparently do something called half smokes.
Which we
Ben's
could
Chili
do.
Bowl.
We could do buffalo chicken wings.
We could.
We just can't have them breaded.
Oh my gosh.
That kind of defeats the point.
Ben's Chili Bowl ships nationwide too.
Ben's
Do
Chili
all
Bowl.
these places ship
The
nationwide?
famous ones, I guess it makes sense. Oh wow, look at the packaging.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We may have to just stock up. I'm gonna buy a freezer, and I'm just going to buy stuff from all
What?
these places.
Just save it all for when we're done with the diet.
Yeah.
You can buy tubs of banana pudding.
Sweet God. We got to ask them about the banana pudding.
Oh,
We will.
God.
We absolutely will. Hey, wake up with us on your phone. If you're not familiar with the free iHeartRadio app, I suggest you download it. You can play our show whenever you want to. It's on your schedule, right? You know, you can podcast us anytime. You could also listen to us live between 6 and 9 a.m. on the West Coast here. You just download the free iHeartRadio app. Okay. Evan Neal, probably a name you haven't thought about since he was drafted a couple of years ago out of Alabama. Did a lot of winning with the Crimson Tide since he's been in the NFL. It's been up and down in terms of his own career. The New York Giants, obviously, last year had this unbelievable season. Saquon Barkley had the best season of his career, or at very least since his rookie year, and then promptly got injured this year. And he's been out for the past 2 weeks now with an ankle injury after complaining all offseason long alongside Austin Eckler, who is also out. He's injured as well. That these running backs are just not valued in terms of how much money they're compensated with, because these teams, they don't understand their value. Oh, no, they get your value. You just get injured a lot. That's the problem with running backs. It's just an occupational hazard.
And that brings down the value.
Of course.
I mean, that's just it. I go to cars a lot because it's easy for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I mean, it's buying a car that is reliable, a used car that's reliable. It has a good track record. The thing's never broken down. And then there's the same car that has had a bunch of problems. So that car's just worthless.
It is.
I mean, it sucks. It sucks in the world of sports. But look, I'm worth less as an athlete than I am as a janitor.
And the reality of this situation is, I guess you're right.
That one really clicked for me.
Well, yeah.
The reality of the situation is a car is a good comparison because even like a lesser car still gets you from A to B. I mean, it's not really what you want. Maybe it's a loaner while your car's being worked on, but it still gets you to work.
Yeah, no,
you know,
yeah.
and like running backs kind of feel that way. When one goes bad, you blow out a tire, you ride on your rims for a little while, it needs some service in the shop. They give you a loaner. Guess what? You're still making it to work.
And you find Isaiah Pacheco in the 5th round of the draft, and he's your stud running back for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
I think that over the offseason, like the running back thing was one of the biggest stories because of the Zoom call with Austin Eckler and all the guys. And I think the GMs won this battle, won this war, because now running backs are proving the GM's point for them.
Well, it was never a war. The battle was so weird because like the only people cared were basically the top 5 highest paid running backs in the NFL. You didn't hear a lot of support from guys who are their backups,
like Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, or guys who were drafted or going to be drafted, because guess what? All of them are like, yeah, sure, you guys complain. We're trying to earn our way onto the field. You guys are in our way. Like, so it had zero support for obvious reason. But back to Evan Neal, kind of got distracted with the running backs conversation. Saquon Barkley's out, completely different looking season for this Giants team. And this offensive line is not protecting Daniel Jones well enough. And as a result, they got booed off the field in New York after Seattle took it to this offensive line. Daniel Jones sacked 10 times, quarterback sacks on the game, 11 for the New York Giants offensive line. So he responds by speaking to somebody from NJ.com after the game. And he said, "Why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of sheep? The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere?" So let's pause there for a moment. Let's talk about that. How does that land with you guys?
That makes me just want to write him off. I'm done. That's how it makes me feel, because look, the guys flipping hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere are us. I mean, it compared what we do in comparison to what he does, him being on the stage he's on, our pay grades, we're flipping hamburgers. That's what it is. Now, we are also the people who tune in every single week. So the collection of all us hamburger flippers are the reason he is getting a paycheck at all. So without people watching the Gladiators aren't getting paid. So I mean, you're casting the people aside who look up to him and root for him.
Travis, it's a bad look for Evan Neal. It's a really bad look for Evan Neal. And this NJ.com reporter, I do wonder if as soon as Evan Neal said it, the person was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to say that?" Because everybody who's going to read this is who you're talking about. And this is a direct shot at them.
Yeah,
it is a dangerous situation for someone who's playing at the highest level in the NFL, making very good money, to take a shot at the owner's fan base. The people that pay the owner are the people you're talking about. That is a scary situation to put yourself in.
Well, you have to be either, completely out of touch, or you have to be extremely frustrated, or maybe both. And then also, you have to be extremely short-sighted if you think that you're going to win this one. Look, there are battles that are worth waging. This is not one of them. Look, don't get me wrong. There were times when I was playing, actually most of the time when I was playing, my thought process was F all of these people. It really was, because it helped me. If I pretended it wasn't important to me, if I pretended it wasn't important to anybody, then I played better.
Now, if you struggled in a game, or you, I don't know really your career that well, I just know where you were. I don't know how you played. Would your DMs be full?
No,
Would like people be throwing shots at you?
that doesn't happen as much with offensive linemen. It really
It's
doesn't.
mostly people that drop the football.
Yeah, skill position players get it way more than offensive linemen. But I also have never been a part of an offensive line that gave up that many sacks in a game. Not once. I've never given up, I think, more than 2 sacks in a game myself. It's hard to. It's really hard to give up that many sacks. And it's a collaboration. A lot of things have to go wrong in order for that to happen. But the most wrong that has to occur is obviously up front on the offensive line.
But Rich, as a former player, if you thought in your head, F these people, because that's what helped you separate, whatever it was, the people from the game, and that helped motivate you or get you out on the field, would it be ever something you'd come out and say?
Well, no. And also, I guess I should explain that better. The thought process of F these people, F these fans, like that mindset, it put me, it took something really big and really important and made it less important. It's really difficult to say, like, if you're somebody who aspires to be a musical act and play arenas, to think about what that means. Like Taylor Swift is an economy. Taylor Swift makes so much money that she outpaces the GDP of most countries in the world. Like, think about that. She in herself is an economy. For me, like, thinking about as a kid, a high school kid, in the squat rack in my high school, thinking about playing on the biggest stage of football, like, I had to minimize it to make it make sense to my brain. Like, it was just me out there. I didn't care what these fans thought of me. F these people. Like, I'm just going to go do my job. I describe it this way. Like, I literally almost pretended like I wasn't even a human being anymore when I got on the field. Like, I was just something out there, a cog in a machine, doing a task.
It almost sounds to me like if you were to not say F these people, the weight of all of the people.
There's 70,000 people out there.
Yeah. It would consume you and crush you.
Yeah, like you can be crushed. I mean, in college, I was playing in front of 110,000 people sometimes at these home games. Like, you have to somehow find a way to wrap your head around what you're doing and get super hyper focused on one thing. Now, post game, when you come back to reality and like you allow, that whatever that person you become when you're on the field to fade and you become yourself again, like, you realize the importance of fans. You realize the importance of the media covering the game. And if there's not 110,000 people at Beaver Stadium, well, then there's no opportunity for my name to be promoted or for this team to be promoted and for anything to happen. But like I get the mentality. I just don't share in his vigor to blame these people for booing him.
It's really a bad look. And now we have experienced a sliver of this in San Diego, if you remember a few years back, and it was one of the most memorable radio days that I can remember. Ian Kinsler flipping off the fans at Petco Park and screaming F you all as he walks off the field. Now, that wasn't a press conference. That wasn't with a reporter one-on-one. That wasn't a quote that got written down. That was something we all saw on TV as he walked off the field into the dugout after hitting a home run. And that next day, we roasted Ian Kinsler alive.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah.
I mean, we basically ran him out of San Diego the next day.
And I don't blame anybody for doing that, because what that is a straight up mark of disrespect to your fan base. Now, regardless of how you try to minimize a huge stage, like whether it's the way I did it or some athlete find another way, you cannot outwardly attack the people who pay your bills. In fact, I was quite the opposite. During my playing days, every autograph I could sign, I would sign. Every little kid who wanted a pair of gloves, I would give them a pair of gloves or a pair of cleats. Like I like all that stuff, because these are the people who give you the access to living the life you've dreamt about when you were a high school football player. Evan Neal took a very different tact. And then as a result, Don LaGreca, who's on the Michael K show, I believe it's WFAM New York. I'll try to find the attribution. I'm pretty sure it's on the Fan.
It's whatever the ESPN station is.
Okay, yeah. Well, then it's not the Fan. Either way, ESPN out in New York. LaGreca gets on the radio. He's the co-host of Michael K. And he had a lot to say about Evan Neal. Here was his take on the whole situation.
What a piece of human trash. And I don't want to hear some apology. I don't want to hear, I was taken out of context. I didn't mean, I don't want to hear, done. I would cut his fat ass. Oh, if I'm John Mara, I call him into the office and
No,
say,
I wouldn't.
you were a first-round pick, but you're not worth anything. You don't talk to our fans that way. You don't talk to me that way. You are out of a job.
I mean, that was my gut reaction.
Do you guys want more?
I'm not kidding. It took me a couple minutes to kind of settle down from it because it irritated me.
Do you want more?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been that mad at a sports figure.
Look, Don LaGreca, I mean, he's doing the show to his personality. I think he sounds just as idiotic as Evan Neal sounded. I really do, because look, the situation is a situation. Evan Neal sounds like a spoiled child.
Mm-hmm.
Don LaGreca sounds like a spoiled child. Both of them were wrong here. I don't think that anybody should personally accost Evan Neal. I would never subscribe to that newsletter. At the same time, I think Evan Neal owes everybody an apology if it's sincere. Well, if you were looking for an apology, here it is. I was wrong for lashing out at the fans who are just as passionate and as frustrated as I am, Neal wrote on social media. I let my frustrations in my play, plus the desire to win, get the best of me. I had no right to make light of anyone's job. I deeply regret the things I said. We are working day in, day out to grow as a team, and this was an unnecessary distraction. I apologize.
Wow, the New York Giants writer did a really good job on that one.
Right.
Listen, I don't think that doesn't necessarily have to be written for him.
Oh,
Maybe
that
it
feels
was.
PR.
Look, somebody
Read that last line again.
It says we are working day in and day out to grow as a team, and this was an unnecessary distraction. I apologize.
PR.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say it was or not. You can have your opinion if you want to chalk this up to somebody writing for him. You know, I know this. I've said regrettable things in my life to my wife, to friends of mine. I know that I've said regrettable things to coworkers over the course of my time playing in the NFL.
You once compared me to your toothless dog.
Yeah, you do. You do that. I stand by that. And lady is a sweet girl, but she's somewhat useless.
I got the tooth replaced, Rich.
No, it wasn't the tooth. It was more just the vibe.
And now I have to swallow my food whole.
Like a seagull.
Did learn today that Rich Ornberger carried around birds as a player.
I did.
Yeah, because
what?
he used to pass out paracletes whenever he could.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Time out.
You go sit over there on one of those 5 stools we have in this studio. I don't know why we have so many stools.
Because we stole them all.
Oh, that's true.
We just kept bringing in stools.
Travis, that was a really bad joke.
But also, I mean, really good.
No, that was a really
that
bad
I had
joke.
to save for like 5 minutes, by the way.
Took you a long time.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a payoff.
Guys, we got the first 4 sweeps in one day in a Major League Baseball postseason since somewhere early in the 1900s, which that's back-to-back days now. We've had something that hasn't happened since the early 1900s in the Major League Baseball postseason. However, the Padres aren't in it. And I ask you both this. Do you look around the Major League Baseball playoff field, especially the teams that were playing in the wild card round, and just think to yourself, how are the Padres not here?
Yeah.
They're so much better than all these teams.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
Like, you look at the roster construction, especially if like the Diamondbacks comes to the top of my head,
Yes.
who are advancing to play the Dodgers, by the way.
Yes.
And you're like, up and down this lineup, the Padres are so much better than you.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, the Padres, if they found a way to sneak into the postseason, might have made a very deep run.
They'd have been fine. I honestly believe that. Coming up tonight, we got Thursday Night Football. It is the Bears. It is the Commanders. It is a 6-point favor for the Commanders in Washington, D.C. Remember, the Commanders played the Eagles really well last week. The Bears have looked like a disaster all season outside of one half of football against the worst team in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. Woo!
Which brings us to Thursday Night Football. Looking forward to speaking with some of the fine folks at Ben's Chili Bowl because the site of this game is going to be in Washington. Commanders favored by 6. Justin Fields and Sam Howell both coming off of pretty good weeks of football. I'm thinking this could be a game. I'm not looking into it any deeper than that.
All right, Al Michaels at the end of the night, does he look to Kirk Herbstreit and say, Kirko, we finally got a good one? Or does he look to Kirk Herbstreit and say, I'm going to die?
You know what? To me, this feels like it's going to be a close game, which gives it a little bit of interest, but God, it kind of feels like it's going to be that Colts Bronco feeling.
That's what I was just going to say.
I mean, it's close, but boring.
I really do feel like I hope for all of us, like it's an interesting game. I do hope or sort of quietly wish that it's an awful game. So
6-3 score.
So I could hear Al Michaels complain outwardly on air. Just like
that is fun.
And another turnover in what has already been a very sloppy, awful football game.
Justin Fields has thrown 4 interceptions tonight.
Well, Kirk, we started the night thinking that
that have resulted in 0 points.
we started the night thinking that we were going to see football. We saw something else.
Yeah, I do like that too. That's really what I hope for most.
One of the things I can promise you that I'm going to be doing is playing on my Underdog Fantasy app
and smashing the lower.
Oh man, am I? So if you want to play along too, download the Underdog app, Underdog Fantasy app. And when you sign up with promo code XTRA. Very simple. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. And this is completely legal in the state of California. I know some people have been asking. That's your answer. And these pick'em games that Ben's talking about, you could pick between 2 and 5 players, and you can pick higher or lower on these players' stats for the game. If you hit on all of them, you hit these multipliers. You have a 5-player pick'em, you get 20 times your money. So you put in a $5 bet, that's good for $100. Easy peasy. So again, download the free Underdog Fantasy app, sign up with promo code extra. That's XTRA, and they'll double your deposit up to $100. You must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.com. Okay, 844-570-1360 is the number to dial right now. That's 844-570-1360. We got Avenged Sevenfold tickets on the other side, and we must ask you a question that's next.
We got Avenged Sevenfold tickets coming up with Mustache. You a question next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. Starting off in baseball, AJ Preller spoke to the media yesterday via a Zoom press conference. When asked about manager Bob Melvin and his status with the team, Preller said that Melvin is the Padres manager. Elsewhere in baseball, postseason going on right now. All 4 wildcard series were sweeps. The Rangers, Twins, D-backs, and Phillies all advancing to the next round, which will begin on Saturday. In the NFL, Week 5 gets going tonight. Bears traveling to D.C. to take on the Commanders. Commanders favored by 6. And it's the first week of the NFL with bye weeks, as the Chargers, Seahawks, Browns, and Bucks all have the week off. That is your PSA to check and change your fantasy football lineups. Everything you love about Mercedes, the style, the comfort, the tech, the choice is all now available in electric. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Never heard of this one either.
No, I was just going to ask that. How do you not know this one? You have to know this one. Wait for it. Wait for it. How do you not know this, Fletch? Wow, it's Big Rich TD and Fletch. It's San Diego Sports 760. Whew, gosh. Fletch asked me this morning, hey, what should the theme of the bumper music be? And I said, let's do Talking Heads. And there hasn't been a single Talking Head song that you know.
This sounds familiar, but I'm not thinking of a song.
I mean,
I'm not thinking of this. I'm thinking of Our House in the Center of the Street.
Yeah, no,
that's
not Talking Heads. Wow. Burning down the house.
I mean, it's okay.
Unbelievable.
It's not bad.
Unbelievable. Not bad. It's great. Coming up a little bit later on the show here, we do have a pair of tickets to go see the 4 World Championship fights headline Bellator's MMA Historic 300th card. It's happening this Saturday, Pechanga Arena out at Pechanga Arena, San Diego. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. We also have another pair of tickets, but we're going to play this little game right here on a Thursday.
Hairy upper lip Or nah, it's up to you to determine. If you want the prize, you have to play the game. It's time. We mustache you a question.
Oh, yes, we must. It is the game show that is sweeping all of the world. We are huge in Northern Europe. I hear Swedes love us.
Yeah.
Norwegians adore us, and especially this game we call Mustache You a Question. So Tony is our listener contestant joining the show right now. Now, Tony, the rules are quite simple. We're going to play for you clips. These audio clips, well, it's up to you to determine whether the person speaking in the clip has a mustache or not. And if you get the best of 3, that's 2 out of 3 correct. Guess what? You're going to see Avenged Sevenfold.
Boom. Boom. How's that sound, Tony?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, I like it. Well, here we go. Clip number 1 for you.
And I said, hey, Lama, hey, how about a little something, for the effort, And he says, oh, there won't be any money. But when you die on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Which is nice. Tony, I'm sure you know the clip. Come on, famous clip there. But we mustache you the question, does that voice have a mustache?
I could hardly hear with the clip. Could I get a replay?
Let's see.
That's the first time we ever heard that.
We've ever had that asked. Well, hang on. Ben's gonna boost the audio, and we're just gonna give you a quick little taste.
Little
of it here.
taster. Yeah, here we go.
And I said, hey, Lama, hey, how about a little something, for the effort,
All right, there it is. You heard the voice. And I mean, just based on that one line, if you know the movie, you know exactly who's speaking. So, Tony, we must ask you a question. Does that person have a mustache or not?
I'm going to say no.
And that is 100% correct.
Yeah, that is correct. What was that first noise that happened there?
The back end of the yeehaw.
Oh,
and Tony, you are up 1-0. That's incredible. That's perfect. Yeah. That's Bill Murray from Caddyshack. He plays the groundskeeper, and
Carl Spackler.
Yeah, I can't believe Carl. For sure, it's Carl. All right, Tony, you're up 1-0. If you get one more correct, you win the game. You go and see Avenged Sevenfold this weekend. Here's clip number 2.
Who are we? Who are we? Dude, what are we doing here? What have we been doing in the last? Where have we been? There ain't no feeling and there ain't no meaning.
Right. So, Tony, I want you to channel your inner rocker. I want you to close your eyes and just imagine the sultry voice you just heard and what type of facial hair they're wearing. Tony, we ask you, we mustache you. Does that person have a mustache or not?
I think that's Jack Black, but I'm wondering what movie it was. If that was School of Rock, I think he does not have a mustache.
Ooh, wrong. Oh, no.
That is Steven Tyler.
Yeah, Steven Tyler, who was sporting a very long goatee. He was doing an interview. He was actually doing an interview with David Lee Roth, which was incredible. Yeah, and that was just some pieces of the interview.
Yeah, he just likes
randomness.
He likes to skit and scat, and he'll do it all over the place.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fine. Yeah, you're tied up 1-1. You got to get one here. Well, this one, Tony. Otherwise, we're going to go to sudden death. We're going to go to the callers here. But Tony, here it is. Clip number 3.
I'm going to be late for work again. That's the 5th time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
Okay, all right. Very famous voice there, Tony.
5th time I'm going to be late, and it's only Tuesday. Doesn't sound possible, Tony, but it is. Now you just need to answer this one question. Does that person have a mustache or not?
No.
Oh, we got to hang up on Tony in shame. Wow, that was incorrect. That's Cheech from Cheech and Chong. It did have a very fat mustache.
Call now.
Call now. If you want to be sudden death here.
570 1360. If you dial that number, we're going to put you right on the radio. And we're going to ask you a sudden death, maybe potentially a final question here for Avenged Sevenfold tickets. So 844-570-1360. Caller, reveal yourself. Who are we speaking with this morning?
Jeremy.
All right.
What's up, Jeremy?
Jeremy. Okay. We're going to play you a clip, and we then mustache you a question, whether the person has a mustache or not. Ben, if you will.
Well, the sign says that it's 4 quarters for an hour, but a quarter only gets you 15 minutes. So if my math is correct, that's not an hour.
I'm not strong at math. Not strong at math. But Jeremy, we must ask you a question. Does that voice have a mustache?
No.
Wow.
And I think we have a winner. Yeah, congrats. That was just some random dude on the news of those news clips that you sent over, Rich. But you got it, Jeremy. No mustache there, and you just won a pair of tickets to go see Avenged Sevenfold this Saturday night at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info for everyone else is at Ticketmaster.com. But Jeremy, you are headed there, and you are on hold. So stay on hold, and Ben will get your info.
One of my favorite things to do, and I suggest it to anybody out there, go on YouTube, look up news bloopers. And it doesn't even just have to be the news anchors misreading the prompter or cursing accidentally or like the man on the street interviews. I mean, I can't tell you how many reporters get hit on in the middle of interviews. I can't tell you how many times somebody's being interviewed and they get splashed by water from the gutter, an oncoming vehicle. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times somebody will they'll get them on. They'll be like, hey, what'd you think of it? And they're talking about there was an accident behind them. They're talking about something completely different. Woo! It's one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah. You know what else I like on the news bloopers are when the news reporters are out in the field and then they get outed for it just being completely fake. Like they're acting like it's windy and it's not, or it's flooded and they're in a canoe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody just walks through the puddle.
One of my favorite things ever was this lady was bundled up because they were expecting really they call it a cold. I forget what they called it. There was some sort of cold weather, synonym.
Yeah,
it was
whatever it is.
Blizzardzilla. You know what I mean? So this lady is in a parka. She's got the fur coming out of the sleeves, the fur around the hood. She looks like it must be -40 wherever she's broadcasting from. Some guy walked up in a t-shirt and shorts in her shot, and he was like, it's 70 degrees out.
Have you seen the one where the couple is out for a jog and it's raining and kind of snowing a little bit? It looks like New York. And then the reporter stops him and says, hey, you're out for a jog in this weather. It's crazy. And the lady's like, oh, we love jogging when it's like this. It makes your footsteps feel so much better when they hit on snow, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, all right, well, have a good jog. And the people take off and they both eat absolute dog.
Yeah. The lady goes down first and then and it's in the background of the newscast happening. And then the guy slips trying to help the lady up because they slide on ice. I don't know why I take such pleasure in others' pain.
Because when we are on live radio, we mess up and we laugh at it. And then when we see people on live TV mess up, it's even funnier because you can see it.
It's the best. It's so good. It is so good. Anyways, simple minds, simple pleasures. I'm
a simple.
I could have said Simple Minds for the theme of the bumper music today. Would you know Simple Minds?
I haven't said
Is that a band?
Fletch, you're looking svelte. Yeah. More svelte than I've ever seen you look so far.
I trimmed up.
No, it's not that. It's below the neckline.
I'm talking because I'm down in the 230s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we get a text message this morning from Ben Fletcher, and we're all doing this SD fat loss thing together. And Ben sends us a text that he's finally in the 230s for the first time since when?
Sophomore year of college.
It's
it's outrageous. And all the credit goes to Chloe and Dr. Wayne over at sdfatloss.com. They've really helped us all three through a lot of things. Rich is down over 30 pounds. Travis is down over 20 pounds. I just hit 27 pounds this morning, and I'm just so stoked about it. I've talked to you guys a lot about it. But over this summer, I got to the heaviest I've ever been. I took a Mexico vacation with my wife. I came back. I stepped on the scale because Rich forced me to. And I was 278 pounds. Honestly, when I saw that, my jaw dropped. I was shocked. I've never been that heavy before. I didn't know I was even in the 260s, and I was in the 270s but that just goes to show you how easily it can get away from you. Well, thanks to Dr. Wayne and Chloe, it can easily come off of you as well. So if you're looking to better your life, if you're looking to look in the mirror and be proud of what you see like I am now, call this number, 858-665-3211 for a free consultation with Chloe, Dr. Wayne, and everyone over at sdfatloss.com. That's where you can check out all the different programs, all the different information over at sdfatloss.com. Find out the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every single day, sometimes more. No exercise required, no counting points or calories, no pre-packaged meals, no hormones, no drugs, no injections. If you're like me and you've tried all the fad diets, get on over to sdfatloss.com to figure out how to start losing quick and losing now.
Okay, we got the Chicago Bears. They're out in Washington, D.C. They're going to face off against the Commanders. And since we're going to be watching a game in DC, we decided, well, let's see what the menu looks like in Washington. Turns out there's a little establishment called Ben's Chili Bowl. They make something called half smokes. And on this diet, I think we would all like a half smoke right now.
It's good.
It's really good.
Not even a quarter smoke.
Apparently, this is a famous DC treat. And we talked to Vita and Virginia Ali from Ben's Chili Bowl next. take us in your car when you leave your house on the free iHeartRadio app. So this is what I do every morning. I'm usually listening to a podcast before I hop into the car. I got it on low volume in the house because it's 4 a.m. I don't want to wake anybody up, and then
Alexa!
I can crank it as loud as I want. But yeah, if you have a smart device, Ben just reminded me, you just call out to Alexa, turn on San Diego Sports 760, and then boom, right there on your free iHeartRadio app, we'll be in your ears.
Good morning, little Joey, whose dad just woke him up because he was playing us too loud.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Good. It's good.
We're sorry, fella. But we're not sorry about this. We'll make no apologies for trying to make your tailgate better. And if you're getting set for a weekend of football watching, if you're having people over, you might be thinking, what's our menu look like? Well, it could look a lot better if you order from Ben's Chili Bowl out in Washington, D.C. So D.C. is going to be the site of Thursday Night Football. Bears heading to play against the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. And Vita and Virginia Ali with Ben's Chili Bowl joining us on the phone right now. Okay, so we were completely unaware, and good morning, Vita, Virginia. We were completely unaware of what a half smoke was prior to yesterday. But for the listening audience, could you fill them in on exactly what that is and why it's important to the DC area?
Well, the half smoke is a breakfast sausage. It's kind of designed for a breakfast sausage. And we decided we'd put it in a nice steamed hot dog bun with fresh onions and mustard and our very special homemade chili. And it turned out to be one of our best sellers. It's the #1 thing on the menu. And it's also a Washington signature dish.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God. Did you say it's a breakfast sausage?
Yeah.
It's got grilled onions on it. And then you put chili on a steamed hot dog bun. Is that what you just said?
I put some fresh onions and mustard and chili, and it's absolutely delicious.
Virginia, now, so, I mean, you opened up Ben's Chili Bowl out there in Washington, D.C. You've been out there a minute. When did you open the restaurant?
We opened the restaurant in August 22nd, 1958, when I was 24 years old.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you've seen a lot. I mean, Washington, D.C., wherever you're located, I mean, history everywhere you turn. You guys have any recollections as a restaurant of some of the things that, I mean, there've been marches, there've been inaugurations, there've been presidents. Have any presidents stopped by your restaurant?
Well, we've had so many things going on in the 65 years that I've been at Ben's. We had the civil rights movement. We had Dr. Martin Luther King. Had the occasion to speak to him in my restaurant several times in 1963.
Oh my gosh.
And we had, of course, John Lewis and all of his comrades coming in during that period. And we also had the first African-American president to make it his first stop when he moved to Washington, D.C. I think about a week or so before he was inaugurated, but he was president-elect. And his first outing to dine was at Ben's Chili Bowl. And of course, he had a half smoke.
Well, you have to.
Yeah. This is awesome because now, Virginia, if I wanted to make a half smoke, I mean, I can order them from benschilibowl.com. They get sent to my house. What do I do to prepare a half smoke?
You simply put it in a nice heavy pan, and you just kind of do like you do any other sausage. Put a little bit of oil there and just put it on, turn it over a couple of times, and it's absolutely wonderful. And they're also good on the grill. And guess what? We also have them at Giant Food Store now.
He's San Diego.
Oh, you're in San Diego. Okay.
So, Giants must be back east.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. Well, we have Vons out here. I'm going to petition them. I'm going to petition every grocery store to get some of these half smoked dogs in there.
And guys, I just took a look. For 7 hours and 21 minutes from right now, we could be standing in Washington D.C. for $198 round trip. I think we should make that happen. And Virginia, my name is Ben Fletcher. Is there a chance that since my first name is Ben, I could eat for free?
That's a good question.
visit us. You got to come visit Ben's Chili Bowl. My husband's name was Ben. Don't have him with me anymore. He passed a few years ago, but he was with me for 51 years.
Mm.
And the Chili Bowl is, as I said, 65 years old now.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Okay. Well,
one thing that keeps popping up here on the website, or at least I keep gravitating towards, is the banana pudding.
oh my God.
Yeah. Is there a special recipe you have here, Virginia, for this banana pudding?
Oh, it is so good. I tell you, it's so very delicious. Got a nice surprise cookie on the bottom. You got to come try it. Or order it. Actually, we can ship that to you right along with your hair smokes.
Okay. All right. Well, we have some business to work on, us and you. We are definitely going to be customers of Ben's Chili Bowl. And Virginia, this was delightful. Thank you so much. I think you improved a lot of tailgates here in San Diego, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Well, you're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
There she goes, Virginia, with Ben's Chili Bowl. Her and her husband opened up the place back in the early 60s. It's still open today.
And it's her daughter Vita is now running the place.
Yeah,
well,
Vita,
alongside her mom.
She was in the background. You could hear Vita chiming in like, Giants aren't in San Diego, Mom.
We got to stop doing this.
No,
Why?
I love it.
That was tugging at my heartstrings. I'm hungry. My mouth is watering. I don't know what to do with myself right now.
Listen, that was fun.
I want to give her a hug.
But I more than that, I want her to feed me a hot dog.
That's right.
One of these half smokes. Holy smokes. Yeah, you're right. Actually, the longer we're on this diet, the more
I'm already emotionally unstable, and to hear like a sweet grandma talk about her husband who passed away a few years ago, but she's still holding on to the restaurant. Like I don't even know what to do with myself.
I'm sorry. This breakfast sausage in the steamed bun, looking at the picture of it, onions tucked on each side of it. There's mustard over the hot dog, and then just smothered in this Ben's chili.
Okay, guys, if we leave right now, we can drive there in 39 hours. And since we're going to get in the car, we might as well get in my Toyota 4Runner. This thing is reliable. It's dependable. About 5 years ago, we got our hands on this 4Runner because it's the only car that my wife doesn't get car sick in. I don't know. It's some sort of voodoo magic that Toyota does. Whatever the explanation is, it's the reason why I bought the car. I mean, walked onto the lot, said, I want a 4Runner. They said, what color? I said, gray. And then we were signing paperwork. They were pleasant. They were fast. They guided me towards a new car instead of a used car because the resale value on these Toyotas is insane. You just go up and blue book it, whatever you want to do. Just go check out any Toyota. I mean, they hold their value better than most car brands, better than actually all of the ones that I was looking into. So your next car should be a Toyota. The experience I have driving it is like this. Turn key, car goes on, car never fails. That's been my experience. It's reliable. It's dependable. If you want a car that you just have to put a little oil in, every 3 or 4 months and put some gas in and it just starts up for you every single day, this should be your next car purchase. And it's not just the SUVs like the 4Runner. They also have a full line of cars, trucks. Woo! They got the Tacoma. Ben's driving around in a Tacoma. He loves it. My mother-in-law drives the Prius. She actually owns 3 Priuses. I get to drive one when I go up to LA. And if you're into the Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles, look no further. Toyota's got you covered. So head to your San Diego County Toyota dealers today. They have a huge stock available, and you can check them out at toyota.com. Okay, coming up next hour, we check in with Daniel Popper, Chargers writer for The Athletic. That's next.
We're number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Mercedes-Benz. Beginning with the Padres, they had a Zoom press conference for AJ Preller yesterday. Speaking to the media about the team this year, when asked about Bob Melvin and his status with the team, Preller said that Melvin is the Padres manager. That's all we needed to know. Thanks, AJ. Elsewhere in baseball, postseason going on. 4 wild card series were sweeps. The Rangers, Twins, D-backs, and Phillies all advance into the next round, which will begin on Saturday. In the NFL, Week 5 gets going tonight. Bears, Commanders in Washington, D.C. Commanders favored by 6 points to win. And it's the first week of the NFL with byes, as the Chargers, Seahawks, Browns, and Bucks all have the week off. Everything you love about Mercedes, the style, the comfort, the tech, the choice is now available in electric. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Lot to celebrate today. We have Thursday night football back. That means football's back tonight. Monday night was an absolute travesty. If you were watching for great football, none of that was played. Oh, actually, that would be a great nickname.
Be a great
Travesty.
t-shirt.
Like if you were in some sort of like goth punk band, it's like, and we got Travis T on the bass guitar.
What about just a face on a t-shirt and it's Travis's face and we call it a Travis T?
No. You put on a can of iced tea.
What about golf tee? The possibilities are endless.
So
TravisT.com.
The problem with all of them, though, is that they're terrible because it's a travesty.
Right.
Yeah, like
TravisT.com.
like
Check if it's available.
The tees, they break as soon as you push them into the grass.
It's right. The shirt is always too small.
People are drinking the iced tea. They're like, this is lemonade. This
I
isn't
don't
even
have that
iced tea.
problem anymore, Travis. That travesty is no longer a part of my life.
Well, that is true, except when you order a Travis T, if you order like a large, we're going to send you a small.
It's not just a clever name. This shirt is a travesty.
It'll
Rich,
be
honestly,
mislabeled, though.
When is the last time you wore that shirt? Because it looks pretty tight on you right now. That means that no chance 3 weeks ago you fit into it.
No. This shirt, I probably haven't been able to fit in 24 to 30 months. I mean, like, wow. It's been a long wait. Yeah, I have a bunch of the wardrobe that's been reintroduced to my daily wearing. Like, I think except for one shirt that I've been wearing on Sunday nights when I have to do TV, all of my collared shirts didn't fit. And now with this SD fat loss that we've been doing, now they fit again.
Can I tell you guys a funny story?
Yeah.
I had my hands full walking home from the grocery store, walking from the parking lot down to our apartment.
Yeah.
And Kendall was walking right behind me. And about halfway back to my apartment, the basketball shorts I were wearing fell off.
Good.
Because you've lost so much weight that your drawers don't even fit the right way anymore.
Do they not have a string? You can tighten those up?
They do, but I've never had to use it before.
This has
now I
happened
need
to me before, and I realized, like, all right, I'm either putting all this down and picking it all back up, or just walking out of my shorts, and that's what I did. I chose to just make the trip.
Well, man, I had like 8 grocery bags on each arm.
Right.
So there
Right.
is no stopping or putting that down. Kendall had to like shimmy him back up me.
That's awesome.
That is very awesome.
Do you do that as well then? You have as many bags as you can carry. That's what you carry.
Well, it's like a 3-minute walk from our parking lot to our front door.
Yeah, you
Maybe
gotta
like a
do it
2-minute
right.
walk.
Oh,
I'm not
right.
making 2 trips.
No. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Nobody would do that. Joining us in just about 25 minutes, Daniel Popper. He covers the Chargers for The Athletic. He's going to jump on. Justin Herbert looking
Did you
pretty
say
good.
25 minutes?
Yeah.
Joining us in like 4 minutes.
Oh, he's joining. Oh, you're right. 8:10. I'm sorry. I had him at 8:30 in my brain. Yeah. Daniel Popper's joining us in like a couple minutes here.
Good.
We'll catch up with him about the Chargers. I was about to say Justin Herbert having a great season. This defense for the Chargers, hot and cold. Overall, though, the grade on the head coach, I would give it a D-. Brandon Staley has made some confounding decisions on 4th downs. I'm really curious to hear Daniel Popper's thoughts. He's more of an analytically minded writer who covers his Chargers. He may defend Brandon Staley. I'm really curious to hear what that defense may be. Okay, so Daniel Popper joining us in just a few minutes. Padres, we'll get to this on the other side of this chat with Daniel also, but Padres general manager, president of baseball operations, met with the media yesterday. We were all on that call. First question out of the box, is Bob Melvin your manager in 2024? And he basically said, Bob Melvin's our manager. He will be with us in 2024.
Now, here's the question that comes out of this. Is there going to be a contract extension? Because with Bob Melvin, if he goes into this year as the manager, this is the final year on his contract that he originally signed. And Marty asked a great question during that Zoom call was, well, is Bob now a lame duck manager this year? Because that in baseball is a very dangerous position to be in. And you don't oftentimes see a manager the caliber of Bob Melvin go into a season on the final year of his contract. Generally, there would be an extension unless you plan to move off of him.
Well, check it out. And this is just big boy business. Bob Melvin managed an NLCS berth, but a disappointing regular season last year. And so it was hot and cold with Melvin last year. A lot of talent on this roster. This season, he was attached to, whether you want to place the blame on him or not, a team that wildly underperformed. So if we're being perfectly honest with each other, even though I don't know how much a manager has to do with winning in San Diego, considering how much power AJ Preller has, but do you extend that guy?
It's kind of a prove it season to me. It doesn't seem like it's that crazy. If you have a decent season and there was potential that, things are looking up. Even if it wasn't a World Series, then I'd say you re-sign him. But at the moment, I don't think it's abnormal to say, well, we're he's our manager. In fact, the quote is Bob is our manager and going to be our manager going forward. It's just we don't know how far forward.
Let me throw this question at you guys. Is there a chance that Bob Melvin doesn't necessarily want an extension? Other words, he thinks that this team has a pretty good shot to win it all next year, so he's going to stick around and manage this baseball team. But then after that, he's like, I'm not working with AJ again.
Could be. It's a possibility. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's a pretty good job unless you just hate your boss.
Yeah,
He might. And there's going to be more openings next season.
Here's the simple fact of the matter. I think based on the past 2 seasons, it's not ridiculous to wait till the All-Star break to see if you want to extend them. If this team is 10 games over 500, if they have a lead in the division, or if they're a half game out from the Dodgers, I think it's reasonable then to extend him if you want to, but I don't think it's unreasonable to wait to extend him either. Yeah, and staying in Major League Baseball for a moment, we had a 7-1 win, Rangers over the Rays. So Texas advances. They win the series there in the wild card. On the American League side, Blue Jays, they lose to the Twins. So again, 2 games over the Jays, the Twins end up advancing as well. On the National League side of Major League Baseball's postseason, Diamondbacks toppled the Brewers 2-0. So they move on from the wild card series there. And the Phillies, we had 4 clean sweeps. They beat the Marlins 7-1. So 2-0 that series. Phillies advance. We have Thursday night football tonight between the Bears and the Commanders. Bears will be in Washington, D.C. And the Chargers, they have a bye week. So perfect opportunity to sort of throw it into neutral, take a breather, evaluate what's happened, and no better person to do that with than Daniel Popper, The Athletic, covers the Chargers. Daniel, how you doing this morning?
Doing great, Rich. How are you?
Doing really well. Just chatting amongst each other, myself and Travis and Fletch over the past couple of weeks. I think there's been a commonality here in our evaluation of the Chargers this season. Brandon Staley keeps making decisions that I don't think they're disagreeable to all, but I would say that they're disagreeable to the majority on 4th down on his side of the football field in some of these critical situations in the fourth quarter. Happened against the Vikings, happened against the Raiders. What is your thought process on his theory and his analysis of these conversions? Are you for it? Are you against it? Can you defend it? Where do you land on this debate?
Rich, I've been coming onto your show for what, 3 years, 4 years now, right? Like, and this is the third year of Brandon Staley's tenure. I mean, how many times have we had this conversation? If there's one thing that Brandon Staley is, it's consistent with these decisions. Like every time I'm on the show, we talk about it, and I tell you the same thing. Like, he's going to make decisions this way, and he's been doing it since day one. Now, he has deviated slightly. I think he's been less aggressive than he was in that first season. But this is who he is, and it's who he's going to be. And like, I have to give him a lot of credit because he's continuing to make these decisions despite a significant amount of backlash, and he's not really changing. And so in terms of how I feel about it, I believe in the value that you get out of making these decisions consistently. If you do go with the math in your analytics department and the modeling, like, I do believe that gives you a competitive advantage if you make decisions this way over a long period of time. I'm an analytically minded person, and that's just me personally. But if you look at these specific decisions, I mean, the Vikings game, that is a no-brainer decision, I think, to go for it, because if you get that fourth and inches, you win the game. It's over. It's 100%. You kneel the clock out. The game's over. And like, you have to ask yourself, like, as a team, like as a football team, like, can we go out there and get 6 inches to win a football game? Like, if you frame it that way, Rich, I think that, like, you as a former offensive lineman, like, hell yeah. Yeah, we're going to go out, we're going to get 6 inches, we're going to win the football game. And it's that simple. Now, the Raiders one, a little bit different. Obviously, different score. The Raiders had timeouts left. And so, like, that sort of changes it a little bit. I thought the Vikings one was very, very obvious. The Raiders one was a little more risky. But still, you're talking about, you get that conversion and you have a much, much, much higher chance of winning the game. Obviously, you fail on both of them. And there's obviously going to be criticism and backlash, but like, the guy's been consistent, and you have to give that to him.
Daniel, Staley making in-game decisions, but how about outside of the game? Well, sort of, I guess. Cornerback J.C. Jackson gets dealt to the Patriots. Chargers picking up most of the tab on that still as he's over there. Is that a good decision?
Yeah, I mean, now you kind of have to separate the initial decision from this decision, right? Like, there's a idea called the sunk cost fallacy, and you have to give the organization credit for, not falling victim to that, which is the idea that, like, oh, I've invested so much in this thing already that I'm going to continue to hold it, as opposed to, cutting ties and making the right decision. And that's what they did. They realized it wasn't working out. They realized they'd made a mistake. They owned up to that mistake. And they did everything they could to get as much draft compensation and financial flexibility as possible. Now, you can criticize the initial decision because obviously they missed something here with the player. And not necessarily the player on the field, but who the player was going to be after he signed for life-changing money. But, it's a very layered situation. And on top of that, he suffered an extremely significant knee injury in week 7 of last year, a ruptured patellar tendon, not a lot of precedent for how a player is going to return from that. But they were ready to give him time to work through this as long as J.C. Jackson was really committing himself. But, what was happening was they weren't getting the focus that they needed out of him on a day-to-day basis in the meeting rooms from a preparation standpoint. And they felt desperate. That week 3 game in Minnesota, I mean, you're going up against Justin Jefferson. This is the exact type of game they signed J.C. Jackson to play in. And he's inactive for the game. And that was a message to J.C. Jackson. It was a challenge from the coaching staff. Like, we've tried everything. We've tried to communicate. We tried to coach you. We're not getting what we need. And so they go ahead and they make him inactive to try and, like, I guess, publicly punish him. And I think they were hoping to see some sort of response from J.C. Jackson, and they didn't. And he was in uniform against the Raiders, but ultimately they decided that it wasn't going to work out and that they needed a fresh start and they needed to cut ties, and they felt like they'd be a better football team without him around. And so they made the move and traded him to the Patriots.
Daniel, the injury bug has jumped up again with the Chargers like it seems to do all the time, and not really getting into that part of it, but with the bye week, it gives a chance for some young guys to get some extra work in. Is Quentin Johnston expected to be a huge part of this offense moving forward, or are they going to look elsewhere?
Yeah, it kind of has to be. I mean, they don't really have a choice with Mike Williams tearing his ACL. Now, I think they are going to look elsewhere. If they do end up making a move, that's sort of to be determined. And if that player comes in and jumps ahead of Quentin Johnston, that would also be to be determined. but yeah, I mean, they spent a first-round pick on Quentin Johnson. They think really highly of him. They love the skill set, but they knew when they drafted him that he was a very raw prospect, and it was going to take some time for him to adjust to the NFL game mentally, in terms of his route running, in terms of his understanding of NFL offenses. But now you're in a situation where he's the number 3 receiver on the roster, and so he's going to get a lot more snaps. He got 33 snaps against the Raiders. It's a career high. And so the key thing now is, how do you put him in positions to be successful and to really maximize his skill set? He's not a guy that's going to be, a Keenan Allen type that's killing defenses with awareness and feel and route running. He is a physical specimen. And so get the ball in his hands on short in breaking routes, on slants, on jet sweeps, and then send him down the field on go routes and posts and get him running at full speed and try and stretch the field. And so he's going to have an opportunity here, and we'll see if he's able to capitalize it. And obviously the Chargers have some time here before they play again if they want to bring in some more depth or potentially somebody that could challenge Quentin Johnson for playing time.
Daniel Popper joining us this morning, writer with The Athletic covering the Chargers. And we spoke about it to start this interview, the decision making by Brandon Staley. And obviously the reason why this is such a focal point, especially during a bye week, is fans of the Chargers have complained about some of that for years. And like you said, there is a defense of it and there is a track record of it. He is who he is, and he kind of unabashedly follows this method. And so love it or hate it, he's consistent. But there are a lot of people who hate it. And I imagine that's not just limited to the fan base. I imagine organizationally, there's a lot of opinions about some of the straits, dire and otherwise, that Brandon Staley has put this organization in. And also you look at the record. Now, it hasn't been all bad. Playoff berth last year, albeit a second half meltdown. What does Brandon Staley have to do to keep his job this season? Is it a postseason berth? Do they have to win a game in the postseason? Are we even discussing this yet? Because you also look at the defensive numbers, especially since his tenure began. And remember, he was a defensive coordinator with the Rams before this position with the Chargers. Is he on the hot seat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the stakes have really changed. So just a lot there. I think, just starting with the fourth down decision making in terms of how it affects people in the building. I think everyone in the building's been around Brandon enough and knows his process enough that they're expecting this. I don't think anyone from players to people in the front office, the coaching staff, is surprised at this point when he makes decisions like this. And I truly believe that the organization is aligned in this decision-making process and how Brandon goes about things. But as far as the stakes of the season, I don't think they've changed. It's been the same throughout the off season and into the season, and this team has to win. They have to win. Now, what does that mean specifically? I think they have to make the playoffs. I think they have to challenge the Chiefs for the AFC West. I think they have to win at least one playoff game. That's sort of the bare minimum of what you're looking at this season. Now, Brandon Staley's never finished the season under 500. There's a hypothetical situation where they go 9-8 and miss the playoffs, and Brandon Staley's in danger of losing his job despite never having a losing season. Which would be surprising, but the context really matters. And Rich, I think you hit it on the head. You brought this guy in to be a defensive mastermind, and his defense has been among the worst defenses in the league year over year since he arrived here. And the Chargers ownership, spent more cash on their defense than any ownership group, any team, any organization in the league last offseason in an attempt to give Brandon Staley the pieces that he needed to be successful on that side of the ball. And it has not materialized to any degree whatsoever. And so I think that context would matter. If you finish 9-8 this season, yeah, you've had 3 seasons with winning records, but you've only had one playoff berth, and you haven't really done anything with a guy in Justin Herbert who's unequivocally a top 5 quarterback in the league. And the biggest drawback has been the unit that you're calling plays for. So all that context will sort of come into it. But if they don't win, if they don't make the playoffs, if they don't challenge the Chiefs to the AFC West, if they don't win a playoff game, if they don't get in the mix here and potentially, vying for a Lombardi, then I just can't see, any of this continuing from the top down, from general manager Tom Telesco to Brandon Staley. Those are the stakes. They've been the stakes, and I don't see that changing.
Yeah, Daniel, you said they need to compete with the Chiefs here in this division. They're going to get the Chiefs in a couple weeks, but after the bye here next Monday, they're playing the Cowboys. How are you feeling about both of those matchups?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like this to me is the season here. You look through the schedule. You come out of the bye. You have two really good football teams, like you said, in the Cowboys and Chiefs. You lose both those games. You're 2-4 going into Chicago, but you still have games at the Packers. You still have to play the Bills. You still have to play the Chiefs again. You still have to play the Ravens at the Jets. Obviously not the same team, but still an excellent defense. You sort of go through all these games that they're playing, and there's not too many that you point at and you say, hey, like this is a definite win. And so it feels like, they have to pull out one of these games over the next 2 weeks. And I think it's a good and fair test. Like if you really believe yourself to be a legitimate contender, then you should be able to win against the Cowboys at home, and you should be able to go at the Chiefs and really put a good performance together. If they can pull out one of these games and head into that Bears game 3-3, they have a shot. But at 2-4, if they lose back to back here coming out of the bye, I have a really hard time seeing them making the playoffs in a very, very good AFC, obviously.
Daniel, awesome stuff as always. We appreciate your time. We'll definitely be checking in with you again. This is obviously a consequential season for a lot of different reasons for Brandon Staley, but not just them, the Chargers. I mean, it's a great roster and it's their window. They have the window open, and like we know in the NFL, it can close real fast. Brother, thank you for jumping on with us. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
There he goes. Daniel Popper, The Athletic, covers the Chargers, does an amazing job. You should check out his stuff and follow him on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. And coming up next, how about this? A former Seahawk outs his relationship with his quarterback and his former head coach. We'll get to that on the other side. Also, I want to talk to you about my feet and most importantly, my back. If you struggle with back pain, like 50% of Americans do, the Good Feet store could be the solution for you. It was for me. Walked into the store, took 20 minutes. The try before you buy thing is real. I wouldn't have walked out there and spend money unless I believed in the product. You get to walk around the store. You get to put in your footwear. They'll even let you try on some of their footwear. You walk around in these art supports, and at first it feels a little funny, but then you settle right into it. And then all of a sudden you start waking up the next day, the day after, 2 weeks later, and you realize your back pain is melting away. But it's not just good for back pain. If you have foot pain, ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, all these weight-bearing joints in your body that have been beaten down for years and years and years, if you're walking around and then rubbing your knee when you get to the office, it's time to adjust something. And why not work with the foundation of the rest of your body, your feet, at the Good Feet store? You can check them out online at goodfeet.com, book your appointment there, or just walk into one of their 200-plus locations here in the U.S. or overseas. Okay. Coming up next, we'll hit that Seattle Seahawks storyline. Kind of a surprising admission from a former star. That's next.
A stunning admission by a former Seattle Seahawk about Russell Wilson, and is Joe Burrow the problem out in Cincinnati? We talk about it next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. In baseball, AJ Preller spoke with the media yesterday via Zoom press conference, confirming that Bob Melvin is the manager for this Padres team in 2024. Elsewhere in baseball, postseason going on right now. All 4 wild card series were sweeps. The Rangers, Twins, D-backs, and Phillies all advancing to the next round, which will begin on Saturday. In the NFL, Week 5 gets going tonight. Bears traveling to D.C. to take on the Commanders. Commanders 6-point favorites at the moment. And it's the first week in the NFL with bye weeks, as the Chargers, Seahawks, Browns, and Bucks all have the week off. Rich's story about bye weeks were pretty funny and what NFL guys can get into. If you missed it, it's up on the free iHeartRadio app in the 6 o'clock hour. Everything you love about Mercedes, the style, the comfort, the tech, the choice is all yours, now available in electric. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
You know this one? You know this one, Fletch?
Psycho killer.
Come on, here we go. Come on. Yeah, it's Talking Heads Day because that's what I picked as you were like, what's our theme going to be for the show music?
So I think we should do that moving forward. So today was Travis. So going in our line, tomorrow would be me, Rich on Monday.
Okay.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch it all the way around.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. We
I
also
gotta think about who I'm going to pick.
Is it going to be Taylor Swift?
No.
Are you sure?
Who's her like mortal enemy? Is Olivia Rodrigo? Is that what we learned this morning?
Wait, they're mortal enemies? No, I just don't think
Gina
they're friends.
Valentina said.
No, she's just not in her whatever.
She's not in her clique.
But didn't she say Olivia Rodrigo has like a diss track out about Taylor Swift?
Oh, she said,
does?
No.
That's what Gina told. Do you guys not listen?
Oh,
not really.
No, yeah.
I mean,
wait,
no.
Vampire.
Wait, hold on.
Is that Olivia Rodrigo or
Vampire?
Selena Gomez?
Wait, Vampire's about Vampire is Olivia Rodrigo. That's about Taylor Swift.
That's what Gina
told us.
I didn't hear any of that. I was still
Hi, it's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We don't listen.
It's San Diego Sports 760 as well, by the way. Are we sure that's what she said?
I think that
I'm 100% positive.
She also said it was Travis Kelce's birthday, which she acted like we were supposed to know that.
Well, also, by the way, I don't even know your guys' birthday.
That's what I'm saying.
We wrote them down on calendars in our office, and I still don't know.
I have a better shot at guessing both of your conception dates than I do guessing your birthday.
Actually, yeah. I know for a fact that I think Travis is in May.
Conception
no.
date?
Conception date?
Yours is close to Mother's Day.
yours is
Mine's
Mother's
close to
Day.
Mother's Day. And we discussed that at length. Yours, I think, is close to the first of the year, right? Around New Year's?
No, I thought it was school starting.
It is school starting.
September-ish.
So September-ish,
Yeah,
maybe
right.
a little before.
That's when
right.
Keith and Angela did the dirty.
Yeah,
I think it's
Make old
August. I
Benny.
think it was August.
End of August. And my birthday's in May. So was it Valentine's Day?
Yours would be so May,
March?
It would it would be around like June. The summer solstice.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, I don't know.
It wouldn't be 11 months.
And
unless you were cooking for a long
because I'm
time.
going backwards. Yeah, I was
Ann and Roger Dale. What's your dad's name?
Rod.
Oh, it's Rod.
Yeah.
Is it really? Is it short for Roger?
Yeah,
No,
it
it's actually it's Robert Owendale.
Oh, but they call him Rod.
They call him Rod.
Hot Rod.
Yeah, it's RODDD.
God, it's a good thing.
Because it's an extra long rod.
It's a good thing Rich's name isn't Rod, because that'd be a weird
No.
show name.
Yeah. Rich Rod and Flesh.
No, your
Wait.
name.
Oh, Dick Rod and Flesh.
No.
Oh.
Big Rod, TD, and Fletch.
Big Dick Rod and Fletch. If we went by nicknames, oh my God! No, we're not.
I don't think so.
can't say that.
I think that's too far.
I was like,
Dude, if you're towing that line, you just jumped into the deep end.
Well, anyways, all I know is years ago,
You're
years
welcome,
ago,
YouTubers.
Yeah.
You got that one for free.
right.
on Mother's Day, Big Dick Ornberger and Patty, they got it on, and they created me.
I'm handcuffed here. I don't have any more delay.
He's talking about his dad, Richard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm Little Richard. He's Big Dick Ornberger.
Yeah.
He's
Everybody
all-
calls him that.
Everybody calls. I mean, I'm not saying anything out of line. That's what people call my dad.
Okay, that's fine. But when Nick Foles had a certain nickname, we were not allowed to call him.
We
that.
weren't, but that's a different connotation. We're talking about people parts,
Mhm.
and we were.
It's the same thing with Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
You have to call him Big Sock Brock.
Right.
exactly.
Which is why he shouldn't. Never mind.
What-
Moving on. Seahawks, what's happening?
I think the point is we're all dear friends,
Correct.
and and whether we know each other's birthdays or not doesn't mean that we have weaker friendships.
March
Gina the
27th,
Latina.
by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. And for those playing at home,
Okay.
if you want to send the gifts, send them to 96XO Granite Ridge Drive,
Right.
92123.
That's right.
Okay,
Wow, you remember our address.
I have to
pretty
because
good.
I have so many packages sent here. It's like all the time. It's really sickening.
Everybody keeps asking, where can we send the packages?
Like, the fan mail. It's crazy.
Ben, have you seen the amount of mold that's growing inside of that pumpkin?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a science experiment.
It is melting.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Look at this thing.
There is so
It's-
much pumpkin juice that's pouring out
It's
of the
fantastic.
jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And now with recent revelations on
Yeah, we didn't say to stick your nose in there.
yeah, that's black mold. We're growing it on our own.
That's how they make pumpkin spice.
I think you guys are gonna die.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been
we're
breathing that
fine.
this whole time.
We're fine.
You just open up the lid on that thing. I can smell
let,
the
you let
mold.
the spores out.
Where's the flamethrower?
Oh, it's oh no, it's not in my car. I used it to make a
But if it's moldy, it might burn better.
well, speaking of which, we posted that on Big Rich TD Fletch on TikTok. I got to get that up on Instagram too. But if you want to see me flamethrow a tomahawk steak, that happened. It happened the same day we were flamethrowing pumpkins.
I've been saving this because I didn't want to spoil it. But last night, late at night, in bed, I couldn't sleep. I posted a TikTok, and it is a picture, just a picture, no movement, no video, no nothing.
Mhm.
It's a picture of me from 2019 with Travis Kelce sitting behind me. And I put the caption as, will anything with Travis Kelce go viral? This picture is from 2019. You can barely see him. His back is turned to the camera. It has more views than any of our last 10 videos.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look at this. I looked at it earlier today. So on TikTok, what he did is he just posted a selfie with Travis Kelce behind him speaking to other people. So
Awesome.
Ben just gave it the whole creeper.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. Look who's
Yeah.
behind me. And it has over 1,000 views and 61 likes. Yeah.
Wow. It's the Taylor Swift effect.
It is.
Travis Kelce is now one of, if not the biggest star in the country right now, alongside Taylor Swift, because this is what happens with celebrity power couples. It's what elevated Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie so much higher than they were apart from each other. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is the way it works. Oh, speaking of power couples, back in his playing days, during his time with the Seahawks, Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson, a lot of people would assume they were thick as thieves, right? Quarterback, running back. You got to assume, right? No. He was on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp's podcast, and he goes, yeah, Russell was just a quarterback to me.
Yep, just a guy.
He said that he didn't F with Pete Carroll either. I love the way Marshawn Lynch talks.
Oh,
by
me
the way.
too.
It's my
Same.
favorite.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's just the blunt, dead truth about the matter.
Stream of consciousness pops into his head. He says it. Have
Yeah.
you seen the Peyton Manning interview with him where he asked him like what his pregame ritual was? He was like, I take 2 shots before every game.
Yeah, Hennessy.
And Peyton Manning was like, yeah, what do you take? He's like, what are you talking about? What do I take? Hennessy.
It's awesome.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, I mean, apparently, not only did he not hang out or talk with Russell Wilson, he still doesn't. His number's blocked.
Yeah,
He
said
doesn't even take his calls.
He asked a player personnel staffer for Wilson's number after a game, and Wilson called him after the game from a blocked number. Lynch didn't pick up the call for that reason. He was like, I don't know how or why, but I just know I got a call from a blocked number. He believed it was the first time he tried to have a meaningful conversation with Wilson. His response to me was kind of like, well, you can't even read some of what he said. Like he basically said that Russell Wilson just had a failure to be able to connect to any of his teammates, including him, who again was a driving force on these Seattle teams.
So you hear that from Marshawn Lynch, but we've also heard like Tyler Lockett interviewed, and he has glowing things to say about Russ. You've heard Doug Baldwin in the past interviewed. He has glowing things to say about Russ. Like Doug Baldwin's career was made because of Russell Wilson for the most part. So it's like, yeah, we get these differing perspectives. Marshawn Lynch also was kind of a crazy person.
Yeah, but so
or maybe
is
he's
Russell
the most
Wilson.
sane of all of us. I don't know.
Russell Wilson to me seems like a super nice guy, but cringy. Like
fake nice.
Fake nice. Or just maybe he's not fake nice to you. He's probably a nice soul and a nice person. It seems so contrived. What's up?
Speaking of nice person, I mean, I just got this update on my phone.
What?
I do you guys even have an idea of what this is going to
It's
be?
Brock Purdy saved a cat from a tree.
No, it's even better than that. I'm talking about Brock Purdy, the most humble human being ever.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy reveals that he actually still splits rent with a roommate and drives a Toyota Sequoia.
Okay.
His roommate's his mom.
He's just the most humble, laid back. He's also not making close to
I
what
was
he
going to
should
say
be making.
he's making like $400,000 this year, and so yeah,
A
splitting-
Toyota Sequoia sounds like a pretty good car.
You're damn right it is. And you could get yourself in a Toyota Sequoia at any one of your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Be just like Brock. Head to Toyota.com.
The most humble man in football.
Dude,
well,
I will say this. Brock Purdy deserves more than he's getting paid, but that's also the reason why they can afford such an awesome roster.
Yeah, I wonder what those contract negotiations are going to sound like. Hey, Brock, you know how you like look really good with this team and you're able to have like 20 of 21 passing games? Well, the only reason we could do that is because you are dirt cheap. So when we sign you to your next contract, keep the price the same.
if Brock Purdy goes to the Steelers, are you still as confident that Brock Purdy is the same Brock Purdy?
I'm changing my dog's name if he goes to the Steelers.
To TJ Watt.
No, to someone who's a Niner for life.
And
You're going to drop the B, add a C.
And this is my dog, Jerry.
What, Croc?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. I didn't.
This
that
is my
still
dog.
works.
This is my
luckily.
dog, Jerry Rice.
Steve Young, come here, Bubba's.
Yeah, Steve Young.
Man, oh man. Well, he's good. I mean, he's good. I will give him that. We were really good at next level fat guy stuff.
We were.
I mean, we were good at it.
Maybe a little too good.
Yeah, well, one thing we weren't great at was next level fit guy stuff, even though we tried. But that's why we needed Dr. Wayne and Coach Chloe from SDFatLoss.com. They jumped in to show us how to eat. They showed us what not to eat, what to eat, how to lose weight correctly, and very, very quickly, because it's only been a few weeks of doing this thing, I've lost over 23 pounds. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Trying this on my own, I lost 4 pounds in 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only lost 5 pounds when we were doing it on our own.
I lost 4 and then I think I gained a couple back. So luckily they are here to guide us because, man, before I started SD Fat Loss, I'm not going to lie, I was depressed. I mean, I felt terrible. I weighed in at 280 pounds, heaviest I'd ever been in my life. I was tired. I couldn't move. My knees hurt. My back hurt. Currently at 257. What a difference, man. Feeling refreshed. Even my wife mentioned how she can tell how much more energy I have. You know what I mean?
In the bedroom.
What?
Because
Yeah.
he was hanging a ceiling fan.
That's correct. That's correct. Also in the bedroom, I'm sleeping so much better. I just feel better. And it feels great knowing that I'm doing something for my family by taking care of myself. So with SDFatLoss.com, there's no exercise required. There's no counting points or calories, no drugs, no injections. And I get to eat food that I actually want to eat. Schedule your free consultation right now. SDFatLoss.com. Start your weight loss journey right now. We're doing this thing together. SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. Tell
Okay.
them Big Rich, TD, and Fletch saying.
Yeah, you're damn right. Tell them you heard it right here on this show. We have a pair of tickets to see a world-class fight. Bellator's MMA is heading to Pachanga Arena. If you want fight night tickets, stick around. We have those next. Okay, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you for one final spin. We've got these awesome fight night tickets for you. Just hang with us for about 3 more minutes. We'll announce a time to call in. But yeah, if you want to see 4 world championship fights headlining Bellator MMA's historic 300th card on Saturday night, October 7th at Pechanga Arena, San Diego. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com, or just keep listening because in about 2 minutes, we're going to tell you exactly when to call for those fight night tickets. Also coming up tomorrow, Kel Sonnen is going to be on the show. We're going to interview him today. He's got some stuff to do ahead of this matchup Saturday night, but definitely here to promote the fight. Really interesting guy. If you've never heard of him before, he was a 3-time title contender in the UFC. He's one of the best trash talkers you've ever seen, ever. He's an antagonist, and he's a really interesting cat. So we'll play that interview back for you guys tomorrow. We'll be meeting up with him sometime after the show. All right. Really quick, Thursday Night Football. Overall, I don't think primetime football has been that great this season.
No.
If I were to handicap it, though, just talking about the excitement level for this game, I think this could I really do think this could low-key be the best primetime game that we've seen this season.
Chiefs Lions.
That was fun because it was the opener.
Yeah,
and it was a good game. The Chiefs didn't look great, but the Lions, that was their coming out party.
It was a little sloppy.
Are you talking just Thursday night or just prime time in general?
I'm talking prime time in general.
Because was it Sunday night? Was that the Chiefs Jets game that was unexpectedly good?
Yeah, another good example. I mean, there've been some that most of them haven't been great. This actually feels like a little bit. It's an improvement certainly from last year. Last year
they were
were terrible. Even the good games, or on paper, the good games ended up being bad games. I'm looking forward to this one. I think Justin Fields is probably auditioning for 31 other teams. It looks like he will probably be traded at some point this season.
Yeah, the reports are coming out, and again, the reports of anonymous sources talking within the Chicago Bears front office, blah, 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 are that this is basically an audition. That after the bye week, they may actually shut him down and then trade him. And they're looking to get a lot for him. And I don't know what they're going to get for him right now, but if he plays well, he is exciting sometimes.
If you're the New York Jets, right, obviously desperately searching for a quarterback, a question mark still there with Zach Wilson. Let's see if there's an injury.
Falcons.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder his play was great week 1, and it's really fallen down a cliff. They've got a chance in not exactly a crowded NFC South right now, although it is, Tampa Baker out there.
How about Raiders? If you don't have faith, Jimmy Garoppolo can stay healthy.
And that's what I'm talking about. Injuries, right? You have Garoppolo in concussion protocol. He misses this week. Aiden O'Connell went out there. They lose to the Chargers before the Chargers go on by. You're looking around that division. Can you win with Jimmy Garoppolo? That's the question you got to ask yourself if you're Josh McDaniels. Am I going to stake potentially my position as a head coach on Jimmy Garoppolo, or do I want to take a chance on trading for Justin Fields?
Yeah. No, I do think this will be a decent game as far as it's going to be close. I think Washington wins this all day long. I don't think there's any. Well, to me, it feels like that's what's going to happen.
6-point favorites.
I'm in. It's fine. They're gonna win by more than a touchdown. The problem is, I just think it's gonna kind of be boring. That's all. It'll be close, but not entertaining.
Sam Howell's entertaining, and Justin Fields can be entertaining.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they take the restrictor plates off a little bit on Justin Fields and let him run with the football more. If they want any chance of winning this football game.
If you want to audition him, that's what he's best at. So let him do it.
Yeah.
You're not worried about him getting hurt. You're already playing for the first overall pick next year. Just go.
Yeah.
Say, Justin, run for your life.
They're gonna get investigated for tanking.
Can you imagine? They called 27 run plays for the quarterback. That seemed inappropriate. It
was just the same play continuously.
Okay. You want those MMA tickets? You want to see Bellator at Pechanga Arena, San Diego this Saturday, October 7th? You need to call at 855 at 844-570-1360. Bellator 300. That's incredible. Bellator has made it to 300 fights. Okay. Bellator 300. If you want to go, call at 8:55, not a second sooner. I already see some callers on the line. Get off. 844-570-1360 for those fight night tickets. All right, Ben, what do you got?
Thank you, Daniel Popper, for jumping on from the Athletic. Chargers bye week. Good time to catch up on a lot of stuff they got going on. Also, Virginia from Ben's out in D.C., getting you ready for some Thursday night football. Travis Dale, Richard Ornberger, not the other name that you keep talking about. Thank you, texters. Thank you, YouTubers. Thank you, everybody. We love you. See you tomorrow.
Only my friends call me Dick.
You know what happens tomorrow?
What's that?
Barker Friday!
Brought to you by Keg and Bottle.
Hey, guess what? It's a Niners fan.
Oh, yeah, the guy. Yeah, Caveman
You're
Vodka
so
coming
excited. So excited.
in. Just sickening. All right. See you tomorrow.